will decide which teams will be in that top 20 and which teams will be watching from the sidelines. Of course, this is EMEA, North America, coming up later in the afternoon, and it is a great day of Apex Legends esports to set up our finale coming up on Sunday, and I cannot wait to share it all with you all day long. My name is Rainday, and everyone in the chat, everyone who is following along, watching, tweeting at us, we appreciate you. We love you, Apex community, and we're ready to get it on. Of course, I got to bring in two of the best in the business, my two close friends and great casters and commentators, Mark Hatcher on set, and of course, Dan Gaskin. Mark, Dan, it's great to be with you here today. And Mark, just an incredible day of Apex that we have ready to unfold.
I am ready, my friend. I am so ready for this. I've been waiting to get back on the mic for quite some time, and what a time to do it, right? We've got our final official match day of Pro League before we head to the regional finals. We are going to experience some heartbreak today. We are going to see teams kind of ascend to a level that we haven't seen before, and they need to. Plus, we've, of course, got to keep in mind that battle for relegation. So this is going to be an amazing day of action for both EMEA and North America. But here in EMEA, this is where we get started.
I'm really excited, Rainday. We have one of the best World's Edge performing teams in the region. We have one of the best Stormpoint teams performing in the region, and they're both going to clash. There's so many points that are going to be up for grabs as well. These teams wanting to get to those regionals, wanting to have that LAN place. Like, this is going to be one of the sweatiest weeks that we see of play, and I can't wait for it.
Speaking of sweat, you know, some of the teams that are going to be sweating the most are the ones who aren't playing and who are watching B and C finish off their games today, hoping they don't take one of the 20 spots that they might be occupying away from them. So let's look at the participants that we've got on display today. Mark, walk me through these teams, because we've got some big names and we've got some names who need a miracle performance.
Yeah, I mean, this lobby is going to be carnage because, like you mentioned, there's teams who are desperate for points to get to regional finals. There's teams who are desperate for points to stay in Pro League and not have to go through the relegation fight. But there's also teams who are desperate for points at the top, right? We have our #1 team in Pro League, not in this lobby. That opens things up for the likes of Aurora, Fire Beavers, Alliance, all in this lobby to make a run and see if they can take that first place ahead of the regional finals.
Dan, when it comes down to the overall picture of EMEA, the regular standings help give a clear indication of who needs to perform today and who cannot afford to stay even. They've got to make a move.
Yeah, there's a lot of teams in the kind of bubble area fighting to try and secure that kind of top 9 spot, or at least get it within the top 9 as you head into regionals. Because, of course, when you are in regionals, you can still get points towards your qualification for LAN. But I think what's really exciting is the fact that when we do get to those regional finals, we still have one team that could win it all on that day by a match point and would still qualify for LAN. So even those who are down in kind of 20th position, just trying to scrape into those regional finals, they still have a shot of getting to LAN just purely off having one of those big days. And looking at this region and how close it's been, I'd say there are teams who really could disrupt that top 9, really could disrupt those big teams, and that's what makes this region so amazing to watch.
Look at that, 57, 56, 56, 56, 55. It is so close. It's not even funny, but look at the bottom teams as well. Not a sincere. Big Corpa, Phoenix Legacy, Heroes, Turkish Stars, Scars, and Echo Esports. The reason I bring these teams up is because right now they are sitting in relegation. Echo may not have enough to get it out of that situation today. So some teams already have their fate sealed. Some other teams have a chance.
Just realize I was me. What it do, everybody. Hopefully everyone's doing good, feeling good.
Split, which, as we all know, is a huge opportunity in and of itself. Who will
wait for the multi-stream stuff to start getting up? A lot of these guys haven't gotten their some of them got their streams back down after going, I'm guessing, for the 10-minute delay. I'm just kind of waiting here.
We can probably focus on every single one of these teams, but Mark, there's always
hopefully everyone's doing good though. I'm excited, man.
We have our eye on. Who's yours?
I am going with VZN. Now, usually I curse people, but these guys have been playing so well, I think that they're completely immune.
This is going to be a really good day today, man. A lot of teams need a big day.
Seems like recently, the addition of Nags has been a highlight to the team's rise to success. But this man on your screen here, Zane, he has been putting up a huge amount of kills for this team in recent weeks.
Try and get this Liquidpedia scoreboard up real quick, too.
These guys on our screen, they took home first place in the lobby. They had a good amount of KP to go alongside it as well, so a good mix of play style, but they also have to be aware of this lobby. They are holding down 8th position at the moment, just inside those LAN qualification places after regional finals.
From last week, so it's probably 88,
one of those weeks where it's a little bit nervy for them. but they'll have to find out and see. Dan, who have you got, my friend?
Well, I spoke about one of the teams that are best performing on World's Edge, and that is Invictus Gaming. Throughout this region, they have dominated World's Edge. Their consistency has been incredible, and of course, the addition of Graceful has really changed the kind of outlook of this team.
All right, here we go, here we go.
Used to be an IGL, now is co-IGLing alongside Noises. The way they play this game, the placement-heavy style
afraid to restart my multi-stream to see if it ends up.
What consistency can do for a squad. Yes, okay, they might not get as many kills per game, but they are always up there. They're getting into top 10s, they're getting into top 5s, and as I said, on World's Edge, one of the best win rates on this map as well. I genuinely believe
I think they have one of the best ones in the region. I don't know about
just for this region,
across ALGS, but regardless,
the finals, when we're talking about
still really solid.
It is a well-built squad, and they are a team to look out for right now.
Well, looking and talking about championships, here's a team who was at the 22 championships, but they've changed. Nags, you mentioned, went to VZN, and they're doing quite well, Mark, but Element 6 trying to refine their own
I'll be interested to see with it being the last day if we see some teams playing a little bit more aggressive, knowing that some teams need some big days, or if they do rely more on the, like, if you go late placement, that they'll get you your...
a spot at another land to prove they made the
but that'll get you, like, your...
really not much to prove from them.
What am I trying to say?
The former roster picked up by Game Ward earlier this year. I love this team. You know why? They team fight so well.
And that'll get you your KP along the way. You know what I mean?
Psychop, aimbot, living true to the name. In this final moment, hitting shots like that with the car from that distance, Game Ward have shown that they are ready to take 2v1s, 1v1s with ease. But another team,
start refreshing some of these over here. Yeah, looks like we got a couple that are starting to pop live here.
Coming into today, V2.
Graceful still not live.
Formerly of Lassique de France, playing against and
we do already have K-Swinny live.
Previously mentioned.
Or me sitting on Aurora, but we're sitting in that like via the
into the top spot to be able to qualify
command center here
finals and maybe even secure their place in LAN.
Looks like Impulse is up. Nags isn't live yet.
And also, if you are worried that we just gave you too many storylines, which is honest, you know, you could be honest, that's a lot. We got multi-views, so you can watch them all.
It does look like right now, though, they aren't getting ready to load just quite yet. A couple teams are still waiting to kind of get into their spots. So, I didn't. I thought I had that up all of a sudden. It's because they have it on full screen. That's funny.
Their style of play, their style of fight. Are they from the edge and like to kind of aggress on the teams there? Or do they sit in the zone and have great communication? All of that available to up-level your ALGS Year 3 experience. Check out Multiview by clicking into the command center, and we'll be able to give you that great experience. Now, of course, every single day when we start these broadcasts, we know we have a lot of viewers.
Let's see if we got a couple who are
maybe some who need to be
starting to pop live just quite yet.
Things you are going to most likely
I thought Tyler was live, not quite.
Today's broadcast, and that's why we enjoy this segment called "What's in Your Pack," presented by WD Black. Today, gentlemen, we have a.
I wonder how much we'll see teams maybe going to more of like that hunker down composition,
but has been a crucial part of the
probably not so much an EMEA
flow of Apex Legends. Mark, of course, I'm talking about the charge rifle.
Yeah, the charge rifle.
Oh, we're gonna see a bunch of the charge rifle. Yeah.
It doesn't matter if you play edge or if you play center zone. It's so good for commanding space. If you're in the center zone and you're putting some shots down, fantastic. You're gonna be able to hold teams out, make it so difficult for them to rotate in. If you're playing edge, you can pick off third-party fights so easily with this charge rifle in your hands. And the thing I always love about it is it's a pick up and go weapon, right? As long as you can find a scope, a 3 times, a 2 to 4, or 4 to 8, whatever it might be, you only need the stock. No mag needed. You just pick up the ammo. You get going, you can get those speedy rotations going.
And you also need someone prepared to play it on your team as well. You sacrifice a little bit of short range and mid-range fights, you've only got the secondary weapon to rely on, and you need someone who can be in those positions, Raindane. That's what we saw from Zane, always finding those correct angles so you can hold teams out or push teams
while
with
we're waiting on this thing to get started. I'm still waiting on a couple of streams to pop up here.
Whether you find yourself getting shot with it or using it to shoot others and level up those Evo shields, or at least establish presence in the map, the charge rifle plays a huge part of the Apex Legends high-level meta, and you will see it quite a lot today. That was What's in Your Pack, presented by WD Black. Well, thank you so much, everybody, for kind of joining us here on this journey. It's been 8 days so far that we've found ourselves looking at who will qualify to get here. So it's very, very exciting. And another element that plays a big difference that we've seen, and even myself having a chance to spend time yesterday with the coach of Team Liquid, #1 team in North America.
Still Nags not up.
Teams have different play styles, and they do well, and they
Nags not up
maybe don't do so well on certain other maps. That's why there is.
So we'll be starting on World's Edge, ending on Storm Point, kind of the way we've been doing all split. I think next split they switch it up.
Can they run far enough before the Storm Point teams, maybe a little bit more aggressive, maybe a little bit more comfortable in the open spaces, maybe a little bit more Bangalore that we'll end up seeing. Will they end up having more success at the back half and crescendoing to take the spots away from the teams who start out well? Now Mark, I think this is obviously a great question, but I kind of want to go back to when B versus C met. It was Aurora who stood at the top of that mountain.
It certainly was, and they put up one of the biggest monster games that we've seen in all of the ALGS.
I need to go back and look through that later. I can't really look through that.
The first place finish, it was absolutely ridiculous, and that was on Storm Point. And I think the fact that we have the little switch around of what maps we start on and then what map we move on to is so interesting in the story in itself, right? Because the comfort pick for so many teams is World's Edge. They've played so many games of it. They know their rotations. They know how they're going to try and approach things if they don't.
Chad, if there's anyone in particular y'all want us to be watching while when we got like the full 8 screens up, let me know. We're gonna be sitting in on Alliance, K20, Graceful, Tyler, FPS, Impulse, Nags, Denze. Then we're also gonna sit on Aurora from the actual command center itself.
I think the addition of this legend has been so good for them to be able to.
I'm kind of surprised a couple of these other streams haven't popped up. Nags
of all of those
streaming a lot of them
inside a zone, bunkered up. They can isolate a fight in all of that carnage. And when you're Aurora and you've got that mechanical skill, you cause problems. 72 points, first place. They were phenomenal, and I'm sure they'll be looking to do something extremely similar today.
You know, Dan, I want to get your thoughts on Catalyst as well. This is a legend that we've seen Aurora really pioneer.
I don't know what my little man's watching the next stream, but he's getting super into it. I love it.
That said, this is a legend we think can be and should be in the meta at the highest level, and they've been proving it.
Yeah, I think with the amount of kind of vision you can ruin for other teams, they kind of ruin their line of sight. You can isolate fights as well with it. The fact it blocks the Bloodhound scan, the fact that Sia can't really do much through it either, just means that you are going to be seeing teams in those final circles being an absolute nuisance to not just one team in particular, but everyone around them. I've seen final circles that are absolute mayhem, like cluttered completely just because of Catalyst as well. But I will say it's getting there is the biggest issue.
I don't think we'll see much Catalyst today. I think teams are going to go for like what they're comfortable with.
Circle, but also seeing teams just hold out squads that are trying to push them with Catalyst. Just
I would imagine.
Down in a building.
I don't know. What do you guys think, Chad?
Just making sure those fences are up to protect you.
I feel like Catalyst is something we'll see teams maybe.
And then a third party comes in as well.
Losing my feed. Losing my feed.
So it's really for me about, can you find a way to utilize?
It looks like we got teams starting to load into the lobbies here, getting through character selection at least now on their point of view.
There's a lot of teams that we're obviously talking about because they're bubble teams, but there's still teams in this lobby that could have a huge impact. You look at Vex. I mean, this is a team that's maybe on the top of their game, playing better than they have. Mark, they're in this lobby. They could play spoiler to a lot of these teams who need points because they just end up running into Vex on the rotation.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy that we haven't even talked about Vex, right? Vex are always hunting on the edge of zone. It's interesting to see because there's been a little bit of a transition when they've been scrimming. They've been trying to play a little bit more zone heavy. They've been trying to see if they can work that play style as well, and they have been pretty successful in it. But it's just finding the balance right. On Storm Point, I think they should just play their natural game where they're trying to take those fights in and around edge. But on World's Edge, I like the idea that they're trying to adjust a little bit, try and play a little bit more zone orientated and look for wins, because as we know, regional finals and LAN, match point is a factor.
Well, it's time to try to get there. Nothing is safe. Nothing is secure. It's time to get going,
and we're going to be going back to the lobby.
The top 20 in the ALGS of EMEA. And guess what? We've got none other than Mark Onset and Dan Gaskin to take us through. Fellas, I'm so excited for this moment. This is really what I think is going to be just the sign of the knockout stages are here. We bring it from the World Cup, which is happening all around the world, right? You notice there's a difference between playing those first 3 group games. Now, Dan, it is a totally different dynamic. You have to perform. The tension is there. You don't connect all of your passes. You don't hit all of your shots.
All right, let's see these last couple. I've got Graceful up now. I just don't have Tyler FPS yet. No Nags.
Does this feel like a subtle dig coming on in here? Like you don't hit all your shots.
If you're country,
we'll have to figure out some other teams that we'll throw in there. You know what I mean?
Matters most. Then you're out.
I'd like to try and use my dual nationality here to say like, oh, well, at least I'm American because, oh, no, wait, you guys got eliminated earlier, didn't you? So it's fine. But yeah, I will agree with your football analogies. A very important day. You've got to hit your shots, hit your goals, whatever. We saw last time these two teams competed against each other how important those victories are. You saw teams like Nightmare, like GameWood, who maybe aren't.
It's interesting to see Scars is going to be relegated unless they like win today.
Still in contention for regional, still in contentions for LAN because they found victories on those days, because they found those big.
They're reloading into another lobby, so it's going to be a minute here, chat.
A little bit slower. We're just trying to kind of feel out the lobby. They really took the game by the scruff of the neck. They really said, well, you know what? If these teams aren't going to actually be pushing and looking for kills, we can actually find some success here by maybe being a little bit more aggressive, by maybe trying to surprise them. I think we might see that more here today, where teams are desperate to try and get some points. Those who are, you know, fighting against relegation, fighting to get into regionals.
They're on the pro build though, aren't they? I wonder why they're having issues with
I've seen
so many issues with lobbies even on pro build.
That are in the lead and that feel, you know, we're 8 points in the lead, so you know we're okay. We don't
unless they're not using that anymore. I don't know if they are.
Out on a random rotation, they take a bad fight. Now they're 2v3, 2v1. I mean, you look at Space Station Gaming. You know, the last time North America played, Dropped had to have this solo run of a solo rat trying to hold it off in some of these previous tournaments that we've seen. And ended up doing it, but you don't want to be comfortable at all in this situation.
Ooh, it looked like Tyler was going to load there for a second.
Feel that your back is against the wall, even in game 6.
I wonder if they're building their delay still, or if they're not going to stream this.
We might be able to bring up some of the standings too.
If they're not going to stream this,
then you explain. Just you can't let your foot off the gas.
No, I think go back to my pick to watch today, right? VZN. It's such an interesting position to be in at this stage of the year, right? In this stage of the cycle of Pro League, especially with regional finals coming up, and of course,
I wonder if maybe Nags isn't streaming it because of the situation they're in. If we'll have to pull that from,
if they finish here in the regional finals, then they will be qualifying for LAN. That's what everybody wants to do, right?
Command Center, pull that link.
Are you looking
we
up?
might have to do that.
Are you looking down the leaderboard at the moment? Because you know that there are teams chasing you. You know that E6 are behind you, GameWood are behind you, you know that V2 are behind you, and they're all playing in this lobby. So one game where, like you say, you get caught in a bad rotation, maybe you get gate kept.
Is unlucky streaming maybe?
Engagement. You can come out of that game with 1 or 2 points, and you see GameWood at the top of the leaderboards afterwards, you are starting to panic, which is why I think all of a sudden this becomes such a mental game today for these teams. I don't think it's just about hitting the shots. I don't think it's just about making the right plays. It's being able to bounce back from good games. It's being, from bad games, and also being able to stay on a level head when you have a good game as well. Have to take fight by fight, game by game, and step by step today. If you want to be
I'm missing a Y because I'm an idiot.
Finals.
Dan, look at this too. I want you to react to Foot Esports because they're a team that is very, very close to not even making it into this grand final, but they're a legacy team in Apex Legends. They've been around since the Virtus Pro days, and it would be a surprise to see them obviously not have success here.
Yeah, I think one of the things that me and Mark were discussing is they just lack that kind of killer instinct a little bit. They're a team that
I still really want to sit in on
they're not all guns blazing like maybe they used to be. I think there was that threat about them that they could have, you know, kind of pummeled you into the ground with each team fight, and they'd be able to find their way through the map just by taking fight after fight.
Where's
but they seem to lack that a little bit for me personally when they are getting in those engagements. There's no one that's really making those calls bravely enough so that they will take the right risks at the right time. But that being said, they're still there or thereabouts. They still have the chance of getting to regionals. It's not like it's all doom and gloom. And as we saw last time,
all right, we'll pull that here in a second. I want to kind of watch the rest of this here while they're getting ready to load in.
So I do think we are going to see someone kind of take the game by the scruff of the neck. Like I said, we are going to see a different team pop up that is maybe outside of the norm. And who knows, maybe it could be Foot Esports.
Natus Vincere. We had talked a little bit about a story of a player from Natus Vincere, Mark. I don't know if you want to throw that out there or just speak a little bit about the team because they are currently in relegation and they need to perform today. It's their last chance to almost secure some type of pro league finish.
Yeah, I mean, I think I saw this on Twitter. Sanya's actually playing from a hospital at the moment from back home because
I heard about that.
The best chance of having power for the entire
crazy, man.
Today. So we talk about LAN, we talk about regional finals, right? But there's always these bigger stories, and I want to give a huge shout out and all the support I can to everybody who's going through these really tough situations, and it just shows how much the guy wants it, right? I mean, to put yourself out there, put yourself in these positions, and still want to compete. I mean, I'm kind of rooting for Na'Vi today. We're going to say a little bit unbiased here, but I'm sorry, everyone. Like, it's you got to support people who are going through it at the moment. And Na'Vi also in a position where if they do have a good day today, then they will go into the regional finals. They will avoid that relegation scrap. And I think that for peace of mind is going to be huge for them. And we've also seen like Na'Vi, they're kind of a bit up and down, but match point format, when you get to regional finals, if you're in that lobby, there's always a chance. I mean, it's an opportunity, right? And if they can do this, then maybe today could be a day where they'll be smiling at the end of it.
What I will say off the back of that, sorry, Rayday, is just that Na'Vi.
All right, so everyone's dropping in here now, chat. Let's get down to it. Game number one for the last day of EMEA.
Well, will we see
who's in, who's not? That's the real question.
Even getting a chance at LAN if they win the regional final. Still a lot of work to do for Na'Vi and every other.
I'm keeping an eye on these drops. No one looks like they're contesting. We'll switch over if they do.
For letting us set this up for you. The stories are here, but it's time to see who writes their own script to the finals. Let's send it over for game one here with Mark.
Oh, hold on.
Dan.
We've already got. Oh, who? Why is this? Oh, it's because we were the last ones. Man, Nightmare already out. That's a quick out for them too, man. That's extremely tough.
Oh my god.
I don't think Alliance is
gold knockdown from the fucking ball. It's fucking juicing up today.
Eliminated on set, which is
didn't want to bring that, my bad.
48 for charge.
I want to go VZN.
Don't have one.
Other purple as well.
Give me gold armor or something.
Is Alliance the only one down here? I wonder. I'm guessing they're probably the only one down here at Thermal, right? Thermal can give them some decent loot.
Yep.
It looks like this first zone's a little bit away from them, but not too far.
Can you grab the other points in? I'm gonna grab the one.
Yeah, I have no light marks at all.
I want to do one thing here real quick. Hold on, champ.
Car here.
Since Nags isn't streaming, we're no.
How much you need? 30%?
Watching staging at the moment. Keep an eye out.
Yo, what did?
Armor while you were crafting, gonna get it, I think.
Who did I lose?
Blue bag and
Bro, I just lost someone. Oh,
You might get it.
it's because I need to cut that and put this. There.
Okay,
My bad, champ.
That should be fine. Oh, there's a light right here.
Up top.
Yep.
Oh, who is? All right, so there's no one fighting here currently. Looks like as far as Aurora goes, they're sitting on all blues all the way around.
done copying.
You clear. I'm gonna queue, hack us up.
6 looks pretty solid. 2 blues and a gold.
Go queue for me.
Vex got 2 blue. It looks like Vex might be in a fight. Let's go sit in with them.
I harvested this blue out. I think we just got thermal, honestly. Alliance should be done, but
I'm good, by the way. This is for you.
Don't forget to team with like.
we might run into Game of Drones. This might be
Could be a decent rotate for them. They don't have too far to go, obviously, as you can see where they're at.
I'm pretty sure this is a rotation. I'm pretty sure it is.
We just land to the
Yeah, I think,
Why is the
I think it is.
like the graphics so bad?
Team really quick behind us again.
We should go for this, I think. Yeah.
Just must be on his stream.
Okay. Okay. Let's take the back.
Yeah, one guy is the bin. I don't know who this is.
Hopefully, propose something.
What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna switch
We can
this.
not count on the crafter to come left. They're already sure. I didn't just go to the left.
That looks a little bit cleaner over there. Is he running stretch?
Or a harvester?
Is that stretch down?
Harvester is dog shit.
He said harvester is dog shit. And he's not wrong though. Doesn't look like we have anybody else shooting here currently, right? They're the only ones in any sort of fight. They're moving up kind of towards Thermal though, so that might be them kind of coming in towards Alliance here.
I'm 2-9. Like I'm gonna be 2.
Was that Alliance taking shots from across the way, I think? Yeah, you can see Alliance kind of closing the way. Actually, I want to see.
Do we hit zone 3 dome? We could hit zone 3 dome here. It has crafting there.
Because they should be rotating their way up towards
What do you guys think?
where we just saw Vex at.
I think we play from personal opinions. Play from Lava Siphon Beacon and play from that side.
All right, so they're actually gonna be rotating a different way here.
Clustered and like people are gonna fight for that.
I don't know if there's still anyone down in
yeah.
tree. It doesn't look like it from the map they're showing. I'm guessing, yeah, I was about to say, this thing's gonna be heading over towards Lava City from the map that they're showing on the main screen right now, where everyone's sitting at. And you have a lot of people who are already like shoved in as well, so.
The big mode. Upgrade armor, guys. We got time, right? Oh no.
We can do it in the dome. We can do it in the dome.
Okay.
Team just flew into there.
Yeah.
What did I just lose?
Effect come.
Coming.
I don't understand what I lost.
I can pick it up.
Oh, I need that. Yeah. Okay.
My multi-view's a little messed up here, chat. We're gonna have to deal with that later. I was trying to pull a couple of views in from
Aurora's Ranch is going to be playing the race, trying to do what he can to maybe get in and
the command center, but
kills. But Corpa now, after such a strong start, winning that 3v3 fight, well, all of a sudden it's their mental game being tested here. They're down to just 2.
Yeah, but they do have the banner, so you can get back up to a 3, and we do see teams finding.
Let's see if I can try and get this real quick, chat.
Those beacons and actually making sure you can get back to a 3. But how healthy are you truly going to be? Are you going to be well looted when you get to the ground? That's always going to be the biggest question for me. And are you going to bring unnecessary attention towards a team that is just going to be?
I mean, it looks like most of these teams are already going to be shoving their way into Lava Siphon, or not Lava Siphon. Yeah, Lava City. So most of these teams rotating right now. Might not have to worry about too much.
They've got the ability to hold certain areas thanks to the caustic as well. This is a very interesting composition because it allows both aggression in some states, but also defensive abilities in others.
Yeah, kind of like the addition of Wraith again. The little micro rotations with that portal towards endgame is something we've seen teams kind of get stuffed on a little bit. They haven't been able to make those smaller rotations with the Valkyries moving in late. And
see if we have anybody showing that they're fighting right now. It doesn't look like it.
Sometimes out of bounds onto teams to cause them some problems. But just to give a little bit of a highlight to Aurora's game plan today, they currently sat in 2nd place on 94 points. Ascend in 1st on 106.
I'm trying to figure out who I'm missing here.
But Ascend not in this lobby today, so Aurora with a chance to make it towards the top, as are the team on your screen right now, Alliance.
And we've not got the chance to speak about Alliance today, but they were the team I was alluding to, one of the best Storm Point performing teams throughout this season. They have been a little bit lackluster on World's Edge at times, which seems crazy when you look at this Alliance roster. You expect them to have that consistency
streaming, right?
on World's Edge, but they've not really been able to find the victories. They've had top 3s here or there.
Denze's streaming. We're just going to put G-Dolphin on our other...
to at least get good points totals, but it hasn't been something that's kind of blown me away, considering where they lie in the overall standings, right? This Alliance Roster is 100% going to be playing at regionals. They are very likely going to be playing at LAN. All they need is just kind of average placements throughout these next couple of weeks.
We'll have to see what Alliance's game plan is here. You can see that Yuki, Hackis, and Effect 2 purples and a blue to go alongside it. And the interesting little change in recent times for me has been Hackis, the IGL, moving on to Newcastle.
I just realized y'all couldn't hear that. My bad, chat.
On Horizon, no surprise to see that. You want him to be fragging out and being.
Let's see if we got anybody fighting in on our full side here.
Actually used Newcastle.
So Aurora might be looking at someone. Let's go in with Alliance real quick. Looks like they're actually shooting across the way. They're also going to have to rotate their way in here.
Yeah. One of you look behind.
No HP.
Yeah, Effect look behind. Effect look behind.
I'm watching.
Nice.
Balcony.
Beam them.
Woo! Big shots from Hackis there. Hackis? I always say Hackis, but it's
I think this
Hackis.
is pulling back, boys. I think this is pulling back.
Yeah, I think it is.
The American in me, I guess. They're actually going to be closing in across the way over there.
Yeah, looting. Stay looting. Solo's here. I'm gonna look to kill this guy. Who look to kill this guy, Effect? Come with me. The Solo's here. You can just look over to the
Yeah.
See if anybody else is fighting over yonder.
Be honest with Dome. I'm covering you. Come back.
Bow crack.
Oh, okay, he's going to be able to land here. But that was Fire Beavers that was looking at him, right?
Надо будет вольковаться это вниз. Вот сюда вандер.
Надо оттуда волковаться.
Да, пошли туда.
У меня по банкам 2-4.
И вот эту вот
Anybody
хуйню
else
потом
fighting
можно...
here? Let's go take a quick on board here with G-Dolphin.
Bullying us. Phoenixing this. Okay.
Filling in as a sub today.
I'm 2-6. Okay. I'm 2-8. Plus a Phoenix.
Rocking the rampart. You love to see it.
We are inside. And we can play for the next zone, having someone in our back. I think that's our plan, guys.
Love to see the leadership there. Nice call, setting up so you don't have to worry about anybody behind you here. Let's go in with Alliance here real quick. Looks like they're in a fight.
Fuse.
We see Vex Gaming goes out in that top right-hand corner.
I can wall up here on the left side. Walling up on the left side here.
I'm gonna drop to you guys now.
I like that play. It gives you a little bit of cover here. Ooh, big shots here from Hackers as well.
Big shot.
Watch your back, Hackers.
Batting.
Oh my goodness, look at all those charge rifles. Jeez Louise. Oh, he's gonna be able to get back, right?
We have the backside. Just care fucking fuse teams. They're griefing like shit. Care behind us. Don't let anybody take above us. Don't let anybody take above us.
So they still have to worry about that team across the way. It looks like they still have one. That's the second team actually over there now.
Almost cracked back.
30 blue on this
That team that's rotating in kind of like over from Lava City there.
I'm looking for light.
Probably rotating in from Dome more than Lava City if they're coming this way, I would imagine.
Pop an ult cell. Care above us.
Almost one clip, 1 HP, 1 HP.
I'm popping ult cell. Nice. Thirst. Play for Thirst.
I cannot, I'm batting.
Where is he?
On my ping.
Right now they've got themselves a couple KPs, so they're gonna pick themselves up a couple more here. Alliance in a spot where, you know, you just want a good solid finish just to make sure you get yourself good placement for land.
Got him.
Free guys, out of zone coming in.
Yeah, shoot him.
Yeah,
Going
around.
Good. I need to loot.
It looks like the only other fight that's going on is someone that's watching Alliance here.
I have 5. Dropping 2.
I dropped him.
Yeah, drop
I knocked him out the zone.
Nice.
of the zone.
Do you thirst?
No, he's going all the way around the corner. I'm going back up northwest. Back to clear, guys.
I want to loot the fuse in front of me.
So I think they're...
If I can. We're still in on me.
There's still a team that's right underneath the entryway in there by the cave from Lava City. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I'm watching over here.
Yes, shard up, Mayuki.
That's some good heals though there for him. Element 6 out in that top right-hand corner as well.
Good. Fucking juicing. Beat up in 1 stack effect.
And where they're sitting at, they'll be able to still walk in with this. The only problem though is if this does end up still ending a little bit more closer to Lava City. Oh, I guess it won't with the way the circle's looking.
They're not in. Tunnel has to leave.
They either get zone here or they don't though. That's the only problem, right? Like, and you kind of hate to be in that sort of situation. We're gonna jump down here though real quick. Oh. With Aurora. Looks like they're in a fight over yonder. Or they were. They might be done here at this point. They got themselves a couple KP. Nothing too crazy, but I mean, obviously Aurora in a pretty solid spot. No, they're sitting in second. I'm gonna see here real quick and see if
Не, вообще 0 лайтов, там Вингман и Ева у него.
We still don't have, I don't think, a scoreboard loaded yet. I'm trying to see if we can... Oh, nope, yeah, that definitely ain't it. It's gotta be 88. They just haven't loaded up the table yet. We'll jump off here from Alliance, or let's jump back on with Alliance here. They're pushing on that team that's over by the cave over here. Oh, good cancel on that Valkyl here. That's huge for Hakas here. They need to close in though, make sure that they don't give them any room. You've got one down. You can even see across the way. Wasn't able to get much, but just enough to be able to buy a little bit of room. They're not committing. Well, I guess since you got zone coming in, you're kind of hoping zone's going to help apply a little bit of additional pressure too. I didn't even think about that. That's really smart.
Deny the rest here if you can. In tunnel. Here, see here. See right here. Threat. Alright, nice.
Now they just have to wait for the last one. They're getting shot from across the way. 15 teams left. I think they're probably the only ones that are over on this side of zone. Otherwise, people would have came over here. That should be the last one. It's a real... Oh, that's a gen. This has a really good nade.
Yeah,
they're gonna try and
No, they didn't.
just the one. Nice. Retired. Probably Totem's gonna be out here. That was really well done by Alliance. They need to get back up to the high ground though. I really like this play with the ult to be able to move up there, but it doesn't give him full value of this shield. But you got an angle here with the swing. Good play here by Hakas.
Reset. Just third, Yuki. Go up and third.
Oh, there's a team dropping behind them. That's tough, though.
Fight them up.
You had this zone last night, Flog. It's a tough zone, man. There's not too much cover.
Get the finish. He's in the open.
Where?
Oh, they have a really tough rotate in here. If they can push in, though, and get underneath this roof, it gives them at least a little bit of cover.
Careful, Yuki. There's team behind you.
I know.
I'm queuing up.
Is that G-Dolphin up there with the rampart?
Careful.
How you doing, Flogi?
Good nade on him.
Okay.
50.
Oh my goodness. Yo, Hawkus. Need you to find some. Yeah, that is the rim. Not like this. The wrecking ball. Oh, tough.
Come to me, advance one.
Yeah, we need to search.
I got no bats.
No bats.
Drop one, Yuki.
Yeah, Yuki heal. I'm slow healing.
Yeah.
Can you push this?
Right?
20 seconds. We're gonna clean up.
They gotta. I was gonna say they have to either finish this fight quick or they need to rotate out. They don't have any other options right now. It looks like they're just gonna go ahead and. I think they should just back out. You don't want to get yourself in a bad fight outside of zone. Not this late.
60 light.
Oh well, never mind. Finger of death, I guess.
Okay. Guys.
Who else is in here?
Listen.
So Aurora's still in.
Real quick.
Смотрите в разные стороны, просто там вот падают. Короче, смотри, Малик, смотри вот эту часть. И просто по интеграции.
Stop! I want to go here. Okay, now you're starting to get on my nerves.
Да.
So Aurora's got cover where they're at. They're actually in a pretty solid spot. Corporate gonna go out.
Под нами, по первом этаже, подо мной прям.
I do want to see though. Alliance.
Ulti.
They don't have much to work with out here. They're now top 9. They're in a pretty solid spot.
Get ready. We'll move away from I can't. I locked onto you.
Watson.
That's not a terrible wall though for what happened. Like it could have been, definitely could have been better, but it's not the worst though.
It's only solo left here.
I fucked the other team. Too. Care roof. Roof looking at us. Look around. Roof looking at us.
Yeah. I can shoot roof off.
Fucking shit interaction.
I'm trying to get full kills on this kid.
Yeah, get full kills so we can get the loot.
Dude, look at the zone. There's no covers. There's 9 teams left here. Nice shots underneath on the bridge though.
They just broke the wall. Northwest, guys. Northwest. They're on the
I'm swapping it.
So foot's out.
Come back to me, guys.
Yeah, one sec. I'm just changing guns.
Come to me. Send me. I gotta go.
Oh, able to get the EMP down before it gets out.
Can you jump?
I'm down if you can.
They're gonna be down to 2 here because Yuki's down up top. That's tough, man.
Stay here, Logan.
I think it's better to play here, so they don't look over.
I don't have a mag on my fly, you know. Fuck.
Do you need another bat? I have 2.
I have 0. No heavy mag. Do you have
Does
one?
he? So
Yeah.
they're probably just gonna have to play low and wait at least a little bit to see if anything else clears up top. Who else is fighting? Let's go hang in board with IG here.
Yeah, let him live. Good fucking shit, Jay. Holy fuck. Jake, you're fucking
I'm guessing they just got out of a fight, and they were one of those teams that's still looking on a bit. They need a pretty solid day too in their own right.
I'm dropping my flatline. Take the wingman. Solo Bloodhound down here. Solo Bloodhound is all it is. He's in his ult right now. Guys, I kind of want to just triple swing this guy. Yes. No, we should make sure they don't walk in on us from a house. These guys are walking in. Okay. Yeah. Here.
They have like the only cover right now in this zone.
They have to draw.
This is a really good spot for them.
They're running at us. TPing right from behind us, behind our house.
What'd they get? 2? They got 2 shots at the wingman.
I'm chilling here for now on our back door. They're therming us. They're gonna break our Jensen. We need to swing them. Yeah.
Yeah, they need to finish this fight before it gets taken to them.
Yeah. Climb on the roof. Yep.
All right, I like this play. Taking height.
Get the team that's on our house. They're on our house.
They're on the left. Yeah, you need to pull up on that team right
On our
now.
house here on the bottom right corner on me.
Yeah, I had them.
Top 5 right now. Just chill.
Like, you don't want to go up on the roof too much, right? Because then it obviously exposes you to the rest of the map, but you need to get to these guys.
Burning both. I'm burning
That's
both.
that's big.
I'm burning them
Woo!
Crack 1, crack 2,
Crack 2. That's a big, you got to turn on that.
I down 2.
There we go. Big plays here.
That's a solo blood on. It's fine. That's a solo fucking blood on. Yeah.
That was really well done.
Yes. I need some loot as well.
2 full teams and a solo bloodhound. Listen, 1 full team on the looting ping.
I think this might be Invictus here.
The solo bloodhound is here. We win. Look at the zone. We just fucking hold everyone.
Yeah, they hold everyone here. That's huge.
Solo bloodhound's here, Jay. Solo bloodhound's down here.
Light and energy I need.
Energy here. 150 on me. I'm coming with it. I'm coming with it.
I'm 2-3. 2-3 as well. 2-3.
Here.
Anybody else fighting currently?
I gave Jake everything.
Okay. Energy as well, Jay. I don't need the...
Вообще топ походу фри.
Oh, they're...
Просто веселее.
Yeah, play outside. We can. Do we want to? Yeah, here.
I think so, right?
Yeah, they were just watching this.
I'm gonna triple pick the guys on the height.
Yeah, same.
Ready, 3.
90 red.
Yeah, that's fine. They have Ash Maggie.
It's a couple.
They just wasted that. They're fucking bad.
Yeah, they're fucking bad.
We just walk this in slowly on our wall, okay, guys?
Yeah, there's no one up here. I think a couple teams are down on that low ground. I think this team that they're looking at right now is the second highest team on the map. I think the other two are down low.
Whipping out my cock right now. I'm about to shit on one. He killed me.
There's a team below them as well, boys.
Yeah, they have the highest point on the map. That those two teams, the two that aren't on low ground.
On me.
On a wall, yeah, on a wall.
Do you guys hear me? Triple peek these idiots now on me.
Wait, I'm gonna EMP them. I think. Hang on.
Fig 90 flash on fuse.
I was gonna say you don't need the EMP.
I cracked the ash.
Ash dead. There's a team on low ground. Take it.
I was gonna say they need. I was gonna say they need to be careful of that team down low.
Yeah, there's only a solo there now. Look, care about the team on low now.
Break the drone. I broke the drone.
Nice. That's huge for Graceful here.
Last squad.
We win.
Yeah, that's an easy win because they're on the low ground. It's like fish in a barrel here, man. GG's here for Invictus Gaming. Oh, hold on.
Give it to him. Wait, take my armor.
Dude, I'm gonna...
Make sure we get these kills. I got another one.
I'm dropping. Let's go.
Jeez, big game. That was really good for them to end that thing out. That's insane.
They had no heals on that motherfucker up there.
Oh, man.
We are, dude. Jake, you fucking old. You just walked out there and just killed 2 people. What the fuck was that?
Sheesh, man.
You just walked out. You
one of the best
literally...
performing teams in World Edge, and we see why. Their whole rotation concept right from the get-go. They moved so quickly away from Lava Siphon over towards Big Maud to play one of these riskless areas where they could analyze where that circle was going to be, where they could get that beacon information. As soon as they had it, though,
that was big for them there.
Back over towards the northern side of Lava Siphon.
They're like, because what? They're like 6th, right?
It looks
7th. They're 7th.
Overhead and the way they moved, but they had to take fights. They had to.
So they're in. I mean, and when they're in 7th,
there was a lot of decisions.
I mean, there's quite a few teams that could make the jump up.
How you push the fight? How you?
I don't know up to them. They're in the spot where, like, if they just have a decent day,
bring Rain Day back into
they
the
qualify.
Because Evan, I mean, Invictus Gaming, Dan picked them, and I tell you what, they look like a great pick after that game number 1.
I'm jealous of Dan starting off the show. It's barely game 1. He's already beat us in most of the predictions. Mark, great stuff
insane,
on the call, man. Take a break. We'll bring you back in game number 3. But Dan, let's talk about it. Invictus Gaming is who you chose.
All right, let me see if
I've been very impressed with this team. I think that they have everything that it takes to win at LAN. The question was, are they going to get to LAN? Are they going to be...
maybe?
I think, patient enough in those final circles? Do they actually have the team fighting skill? Those are the things that I was wondering, because they have the leadership, right? So there's no question there, but they're proving that they are the complete package again and again.
Yeah, I think one of the biggest criticisms of this roster was,
yo,
yes,
what
they
up,
can play
Bari?
zone. Yes, they're great
How you
at
doing,
predicting
homie?
circles, and they're good at putting themselves in those positions.
I think you aren't
but
going to
they're
see
not
as
necessarily
much.
gonna have those high kill games to compete with the points total of some of those teams, but they've demonstrated their consistency can kind of equate to the same amount of points that some of these big kill teams are getting. And at the end of the day, when we get to regional finals, when we get to LAN, it becomes match point format. And you heard me speaking about the win percentages of when they get to top 10 and when they get to top 5. If your win percentage is over 66% when you get to top 5 on World's Edge, suddenly you are one of the biggest threats in the lobby. And there's only one reason why they're getting that high win percentage. It's because of how successful those calls are.
I'm having a hard time with this.
How good the positions they find themselves are in the final
scoreboard
circles.
app.
And then, of course, you still have to kill teams. Yes, okay.
I'm trying to see if I can get to
teams that are
pull.
harder to kill than others, but that particular game, it was just a matter of, you know, we're going to be patient. We're going to wait for the other teams to expose themselves, and then we'll push it.
The one for today, but it's not.
I mean, there's a lot of teams to highlight there, and I think Start a Fight, another team that performed extremely well, taking the conversation away from IG.
This is kind of aggravating, actually.
Over the course of today, Nightmare Esports 2, terrible start for them. They're one of those teams in that pack. Corpa takes them out immediately, Dan. You've got to mitigate moments like that if you're going to make a jump in the points and try to get in that regional final and, of course, secure spots at LAN. Tougher Nightmare, but really it shifted to Alliance.
Take a quick look at the scoreboard here.
Incredible showcase of how valuable new.
Actually, we can go over here even.
Creating that temporary cover and giving yourself a chance to win fights.
And I like that you brought up Start a Fight, because such an important time for them to be picking up points. That's their first top 3 on World's Edge, all split long, right? That shows how much they've struggled when it comes to World's Edge performing this season. But now that might give them a little bit of confidence to try and get those points totals a little bit higher so they can...
Ari, how's your workday going, fam? Hopefully you're doing good.
Final start, maybe even thinking about the
Sorry, chat. I'm trying to see if I can get this freaking...
but for now, they just have to look at that game and say, could we have done anything different? Could we have won
scoreboard
that game?
command to work
Realistically,
for...
probably not. I think Invictus had too much of a high ground
this
advantage.
App that I was using for watch parties, but I can't seem to get it to
kind of ruined things for SAF because they
pull the right
just held them out for so long in that lower position. But I think the fact that SAF were able to stay alive when teams like Alliance, when teams like Foot were in the vicinity and making things awkward for them was really a demonstration of how successful they're playing today.
And they have to, because they're one of the teams that, yes, 1 point away from qualifying for regional finals, but then they've got to win if they want a chance at LAN. So they have to be perfect. They have to play for in-game. They have to be effective in the in-game and execute to get first place. So that was what we will see. I expect more of that.
Is this what it's showing there?
Games 2 and 3, especially here on World's Edge. Ultimately, though, Alliance, I felt that they simultaneously showed
I think I pulled the wrong thing.
So good at the same
Hold
time.
on.
You can see Hawkins on the Newcastle taking on so many roles, IGLing, setting up the cover, but then sometimes in those 1v1s having to push and then direct the rest of his team, missed a few PK shots. That would have cleaned up Aurora. That would have given them the high ground position that I think they could have won this game from. But unfortunately, it was really then...
All right, I think I figured it out. Hold on.
And then Invictus Gaming, who had better positioning overall. And talk about these shots here from Graceful, having to now take away the IGL role.
All right, so that's the finals.
And be able to frag out.
16?
It's done wonders for him and his squad.
Yeah, I think when we interviewed him just
17.
the other week on a different broadcast, he was saying it was going to be a little bit different.
I found it,
He's
chat.
kind
I'm
of
smart.
IGLing, but he's so confident with the consistency this squad is finding. And you can see, you know, the kills just came towards them. It's not like they got a victory and they just were, you know, getting 6 kills on the board. 15 kills, a 27-point game to start the day for IG is huge.
That is insane. Immaculate start for IG International, one of the teams we highlighted earlier. LFO Forever sneakily grab a 17-point second place. That was a strong start for them too.
I would say, I don't even know
in our regional.
If we really saw them up in like the kill feed much at all. Alliance and Aurora both in a decent spot.
The regional final. They've got to get results. They need at least 1 point. Gaming Gladiators, who is not playing today, are the team in front of them. So it should be enough, even just with a game like this. But Game Ward starting with 6 and Aurora grabbing 9. That rounds out our top 5. Let's take
so that looking for our LFO Forever is currently in 14th heading into today.
And still some teams like Vex, Element 6.
So good first game for them. They're in a decent spot. They're at 56.
And say, well, what's happened there?
Or no, sorry,
just get a little
55.
Bit too aggressive with a push. Were they unlucky with their rotation? I think Mark highlighted it in the pre-show. You've just got
and the teams that are ahead of them are in their lobby. Element 6, Game Ward, V2.
You have to be able to reset because you don't want to drop too much points. Even though Vex,
so they should be able to, if they can keep that momentum after a good solid second place, will be really good for them. Like they'll be able to move into
need to be making sure they're performing
LAN,
going into games 2 and 4.
Yeah, LAN contention.
That is a fantastic point to make, Dan. If it finished like this over the course of the series, it would look like IG International on top. Echo Esports sitting in last place right now, finishing in 10th. Of course, Vex Gaming, no points. Element 6 as well. Nightmare Esports.
That was a really good end of that game.
Ward, and V2.
Who do we think takes game 2?
For a spot in top 10 and top 9. Of course, that would be a qualification for LAN if it ended there. Teams who need to perform. Off to a blazing start. A lot of teams spicing this up, Dan. I feel like it's only going to get better and better.
And that game previously could have been very different. We caught the end of the IG versus Aurora fight, but both teams dropped quite close to one another.
Yeah, I'm gonna go
they both
refill my drink real quick.
Information. Aurora got it over towards Harvester. IG got it at Lava Siphon.
Do that cute thing, of course.
To take the same building at the end, but because IG got there first, because IG won that race with the beacon information, it's what allowed them to kind of hold out Aurora and make sure they were able to win that engagement. Because had they not, of course, they wouldn't have got the victory.
Well, if that is any indication of how the rest of today is going to go, we are in for a great one. Make sure to stay tuned. We're going to go on a quick break. We'll be right back with Game 2 of our Day 9 here in the ALGS EMEA region.
WD Black, the official storage partner of the Apex Legends Global Series.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Rain Day, Dan Gaskin here on the call for Game 2. We've got a great start, and it was all IG International. We had spoken with Graceful, Dan and I, a week ago, actually, on a separate broadcast.
Like started to load in for game number 2.
Graceful had kind of given us an interesting note. Obviously performed really well. He IGLing Cloud9, getting about $18,000, 10th place in the playoffs. And of course, in the championship, you saw, in the playoffs as well in Sweden, you saw JMW help Dark Zero to win, literally as a super sub for Jim Burton, win the playoffs. Huge prize, and obviously a lot of recognition and potential showcase there, Dan. And Graceful said this, JMW can frag with the best of them, but he's got to come out of his shell, and he's starting to notice that a little bit more. I think in this game we saw the potential of what IG really could be if JMW, takes the runway, so to speak, by himself and really flies ahead and says, "I am that guy."
Yeah, Graceful was saying, I'm an old man, and I'm the one who's not scared to push in. These young guns
LFO
are maybe being a little bit more
who's
cautious, and I just want to see them get more aggressive at the right times. And
should we get their point of view? I kind of do.
Is going to do for them, I think, even though Noise is maybe
who would we
making
take
calls,
off?
I think Graceful giving them the reassurance to say, yes, okay, I think this is the right
G-Dolph,
call.
maybe?
Maybe we should probably think about this one, Noises. Are you sure about that one? Should you try and change your decision here? You don't want too much kind of debate in IGLing. You want to be able to trust that ability, but to have someone who can just make you double check it, make sure you're on point, is going to be very helpful, especially when it's kind of
that makes sense, right?
Who's a little bit older, someone who's got the experience and the knowledge. I really think this IG roster is going to be a massive threat.
You kind of need that person to be your soundboard, right? To just give you clarity as how does this sound? Are we doing the right thing? Great. Oh, no.
Stream switching is disabled during
rethink that. That's a great
ads on those commands, and that's hilarious.
To our second match, it is going to be up to IG International to push forward, push the envelope, and secure their spot at LAN. They've got 2 days to do it. They are currently in 7th place, but every other team,
all right, let's get LFO Forever up on one of our
for that spot. Will they hold on to it? Certainly with a first place
monitors here. We want to trade out G Dolphin for that.
Got more to do. More teams on the way, like Game Wars.
He's kind of subbing anyways.
Element 6 who have to wake up, start a fight.
Grab this now mind like them.
Game number 1. What can they do here in game 2?
Fly up.
And are we going to see the same battle happening at Lava Siphon as well? You can see on your
right,
screen, Corpa and Nightmare Esports, they're both dropping there again. There's not going to be a backup from Nightmare. They want to try and hold things down. They probably went in today saying, all right, well, if we're going to be contested by Corpa, we feel pretty good about ourselves considering the overall standings right now.
All right.
But we are going to get an overview. That's where the circle's going to be heading at the moment. There's a large area that's kind of taken by the kind of east side of the map, but still slightly central.
We've got them up here now as well for afterwards.
Rotate if they want to. VZ are going to have that one for the rotation. We're going to have Element 6 up towards Trials. They're going to have beacon information as well as Game of Drones. Vexed down towards Staging, going to have to work a little bit harder to get their beacon information. But one thing I will say, Alliance do have some beacon down towards
Yo, what up, Boba? How you doing, buddy?
You can see that some of the blinking lights there. It means that the same fight we saw earlier on for a team that desperately needs to get points here. Nightmare Esports, who are just 1 point behind, sitting outside the top 9. That's a spot guaranteed for LAN. They are fighting.
Let's see if we have anybody.
If my screen is correct, I've never hype called a map screen and a team fight at the same time, but I think Nightmare Esports are eliminated yet again by Corpa. Damn,
that's early, man. That's tough, bro.
Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, I mean, it's shame on me.
That's
it's
super intense, man.
All
right,
saying, should we have held our ground? Where else could we have gone? Was there anywhere else to go? It's such a tough situation when there is going to be these early fights that are happening, these contests happening, but maybe there's confirmation on your screen.
I don't have any of the other fights on my screens currently in our multi-view, so we're going to stay on here for just a moment as this thing starts to close in. Boba, how is your Friday going, buddy?
The chances of
I guess it's probably almost I guess it just started Friday for you, right?
So this will really hurt them if they consistently
How was your
getting
Thursday?
dropped on, if they consistently are having to take this fight. It is not going to be looking good for them as they move forward.
You know, I don't make a lot of rules, Dan. I try to be flexible, in my life and in Apex commentary. But one of the rules I have come up with, and I've been saying,
I don't have anybody else here. IG had a good game. Looks like they've got zone already.
The 2 points. If you can get at least
looks like this zone here is going to be pulling like Geyser. I always love Geyser finishes, so hopefully that thing finishes there. That'd be really fun.
Make a top 10. You're ratting out most of the game. You got 2 players down. You win a few fights and you get a pick. and you get those 4 or those 7, those 5 points.
Yeah, nobody else quite yet is in a fight.
Chance to win and to get on pace with the teams who are obviously dominating. Because
it's crazy to think that there's already fighting going on down here at Geyser.
Not every moment is going to be yours.
Actually, you know what? We're gonna go hang on board with Aurora. They're walking into Geyser here. Now, Aurora doesn't really need a big day, but obviously the better placement you have going into regionals, the better you feel. They're rocking the blue, purple right now. Interesting team comp. Got the Maggie, Wraith, Caustic. Really interesting. But that's how EMEA goes sometimes. Yo, what? What? Yo, I'm so confused. Sit on board with K-Swinny real quick. Let's see how E6 is doing. Blue, purple. They seem to be sitting pretty decent. Do a quick walk around. We'll keep their audio up, but Alliance is rocking all blue. IG's already blue, purple. Looks like they're pretty solid on ammo as well. Let's go hanging on board real quick with Tyler FPS. Vex is in a fight here. Is this 1080p? Man. Yeah, I gotta work on his settings a little bit. Oh, Game Ward's gonna be out here.
Watch out for E6 coming now, though. Tyler, you're alone.
Doesn't look like anyone else is gonna be rotating in on them though, so they're probably solid where they're at. We'll keep them up. We'll keep looking around here. So we've got Fire Beavers. Oh man, they're really pretty right now. Purple, gold.
Yeah, we just play fucking zones. We go craft meds as well, but I think good bets.
Let's jump back in here with Aurora. Looks like they've already moved their way on down in here into guys that they've got themselves a spot, but you can see they've got someone who's already cracked across the way. Wouldn't want to give up your position, I would imagine, here as far as in these buildings, so they're probably going to chill. You can even see across the way you've got some people looking over there. You can see here, Cleave's already low on heavy ammo too.
It's not the crazy Gibraltar meta we once had, but we have a lot of variance in our legend selection. We are seeing things that counter, and
we got Sharp looking pretty
legends that are getting them better
pretty right now. That dirty 30
board, right?
looking decent, got the purple stock on it.
Situations of saying, oh well, in this game,
or not stock, but the sniper.
Saying, no,
you know,
across the last 20 games, we've used this legend and it's worked out X amount of times. So we feel like this is probably the best composition for us. There's a lot that goes into composition selection, and also what you're playing against in the lobby as well. But a lot of these teams setting up in Geyser as expected after they had that beacon information. I think what's going to be big for me, Rain Day, is that zone 4 shift. Is it going to go right towards
E6 is already moving their way into Geyser here,
holding, or is it going to go western side of Geyser? And
they're the ones who just recently dropped in.
Have to move very quickly, because even though Geyser is quite a large area, as soon as that circle shrinks down, you suddenly don't have that much room to play with, and you can be very exposed when you try and transition from one side to the other.
Benefit teams like Alliance, who have Newcastle, who have that.
Oh man, E6 is about to go out here. Oh, finger of death.
That, like, we go back where we come from. I'm confused. It was too late for coming back.
Unfortunate. You can definitely hear the frustration in their voice, understandably so here. Do we have anybody else fighting is the real question. Not seeing anybody currently, so we'll go back on over to the main broadcast. They've got a couple of angles that we don't have.
But it has been a setup type game so far. Only a few teams rotating from the outskirts. You see Alliance as well by Lava Siphon. I had mentioned them earlier. Fire Beavers, one of the other teams. Our top performer, our second top performer in our last ALGS day. They came in second place, actually, only by 2 points. And we got to interview OJ Rain and what might have been one of the more interesting interviews.
That was a really fun, interesting, for sure.
Impulse as a translator. Not sure if he's going to make that his full daytime job. He's a much better ALGS player, and for good reason. But Fire Beavers having a chance here to grab Beacon Dan and obviously get an idea of where the zone is going to pull.
And as we're on board with Totem, I mentioned it.
All right, so let's see here if anyone in our views.
In this lobby that has not found a victory all season long. And when we talk about regional finals, when we start to talk about match point, how important it is to have a couple of victories under your belt.
IG's already in, guys, and they're solid where they're at. Yo, Bursted, what up, big dog? How you feeling, man?
You can send yourself potentially to land.
I'm big chilling here, man.
To crunch time. So Totem, they're in a good spot right now. They are going to be setting up on the eastern side of Geyser, as a lot of other squads as well. I think we only have 4 teams at the moment.
Got game number 2.
Just looking at that map.
Look at that map. Oh my goodness, everyone's already shoved down here. No one's wanting to fight.
On the edge of Geyser because they haven't been able to get into the central areas, and they'll be hoping for a.
Bursted, how are you feeling today, bud?
Towards one of the edge sides so that they
How's
can
the
at least make
neck?
something work. But for teams like Alliance, Echo, LFO, Fire Beavers, they're going to have to play edge. They're going to have to come into the circle late, and they'll have to do one of 2 things, Rain Day. They'll either take a risk and just try and use Valkyrie, get up into the sky, try and get on top of a building late, or you try and fight your way in like Alliance did similarly in the last game.
Alliance is still chilling in Lava Siphon. They're crafting right now. It's very interesting.
LFO forever. Getting into a
chill with the one.
Hell
yeah.
Corpa also near a great opportunity to get some Evo shield leveling up. No charge rifles, but G7 scouts will do. You want to head into that final circle, especially if you're rolling a little late with red shields. It's a big difference. It's 75 overall health for your.
Oh no, Keystone Company, they've been out.
3, and that could be the difference in a couple of headshots.
I want to go.
Fucking bitch dolphin.
Oh well, all right then. Well, that's you know.
EMP protocol. Wow. Maybe wait. Maybe hold it for when the zone closes, because you won't have it if a team pushes us. Yeah.
All right, so they're vibing. They seem to be in good vibes, and understandably so. I mean, they won last game. They're in this current zone here. Alliance is in a fight here real quick. They're were they just switching out armors? Yeah, they're just switching out armors. They're now rotating into this next zone here, as you can see, coming in from Lava Siphon.
They backside all the way on me. We control the entire side here. Like, don't let anybody come tracks and shit.
No idea what you're looking at, by the way. No worries. By the way, Bulba, the reason I over here on YouTube, so I started the new channel, and Twitch is pretty packed with watch parties. And the other thing that I would like to do is be able to take my shorts, like take some live reacts when we see some good plays, or when we call some stuff that's going on good, make those into shorts, which is a lot easier to do from YouTube. So we're just kind of building the new channel over here as like this is where I stream watch parties for esports, and then I'll keep the stream over on Twitch for like gaming and stuff. I just think long term is the move.
Yeah, I don't think I'm sorry.
I think we have to play fight. Come, we take the main building. You can just play space.
Okay.
Careful there.
Interesting to see them. So, well, I guess this is going to be end up moving a little bit closer out this way, as you can see. So it's not quite in that east side of Geyser. So that's kind of what they're talking about. A lot of those teams are going to need to rotate out, which is going to be interesting to see how they decide to play this here. Even like saying, looking back at IG, I mean, they don't have too far to rotate, but.
Have a look outside the zone from your height, just for 1 sec. I can't see anything down there.
Behind us here. Yeah, I'm looking.
So.
But that means Alliance does get themselves a solid spot.
Yeah, so I'm looking inside the zone.
You've got this next zone. You've got high ground, so you'll be able to see a lot of people rotating in if you keep your presence on this. If you keep this presence on this roof as well, any of these teams that are rotating in as Valkyrie, they're not going to want to push up and land on you, so you can kind of keep this like supreme high ground in this bottom west, like this southwest side of this circle. Unfortunate.
I'm ulting this door.
Yeah, ulting this door. I'm nading it.
I fucked it up, I think. Yeah,
anyways, the unfortunate news though is like where they're at, there's a lot of buildings around them, so there's gonna be a lot of different teams that can eventually like peek from those different doors, like say that building down by where Effect's at. Although it looks like they might be looking to try and kind of split their space.
Can you just check behind for 1 second, Marcus?
Yeah, I'm looking storm.
Which isn't a bad move, to be honest.
Because I'm on ground level, I can't see over.
Let's jump on board with Fire Beavers. They had a really good last showing here. I think Fire Beavers are one of those teams that still needs a decent day. They're currently sitting in 6th, so they don't need to like go apeshit or anything like that. They just need to have a decent day to make sure they qualify for regionals, have a good spot heading in, or not qualify for regionals, qualify for LAN heading into regionals. So Bulba, this is EMEA here, the region that we're watching. It's actually the last day of. Oh man, we just missed IG popping off on a team. That's unfortunate.
I can.
What are you doing, Grace?
Yo, I appreciate you, fam. Yeah.
What the fuck is that? Grace, can you refence? Yeah, refence.
Do we have anybody else that's fighting currently? It doesn't look like it, but I'm going to be kind of curious to see as far as LFO Forever. They are going to have to rotate in here. Actually, let's go ahead and sit in with them. They are going to Valkyrie.
Listen, onto the bridge, onto the rocks. Look everywhere, okay? Look, I'm going to fight in here.
Go deep for now. Maybe this building. Maybe this building. Maybe even this. Go for this building. Center left building. Okay.
My bad, Chad. Looks like we dropped streams there, or dropped frames for a second.
I'm holding the store on me. On me, push me.
All right, so LFO Forever here, LFO Forever here. They're 14th. They had a solid finish last game. They don't have any KP yet, so they would like to be able to get themselves a couple here, because the lobby is going to start.
Oh no! This team is in
closing down.
Catalyst, okay?
Okay, shut up. Yeah, guys, there is a team.
Yeah, IG is Invictus.
Broke the door.
Correct.
You play on the other side. There is no doors also.
And Invictus, they're in a pretty good spot where they're at. They're in 7th, and they won last game. So, and I think they're still up, it looked like, last we saw. Yeah, they're still up, so they're in a solid spot.
We're getting shot from this team. They're breaking our gen, I think.
On the bridge, on the bridge.
Vex has to rotate in here. This is kind of this isn't a tough rotate, but it looks like they're trying to hold a team off over at the bridge here.
I mean, we might have to just go for this and Valkyrie, and then yeah, bro, we can Valkyrie this and then slam the high ground in the guys that they won't expect.
Yeah, more than likely their best bet's gonna be to Valkyrie as long as they can do it safely. The only problem is now you got a couple people.
I don't know if can we get Valkyrie up there?
Oh, bro, Apex, there's all sorts of, I mean, on the NA side, there's a lot of the normal ones, but yeah, I mean, Alliance, the Pioneers from, that, you know, have a RLCS team in OCE. They have a team in the EMEA region.
Yeah, can you go?
Going now. I'm going out. Yeah, it's good on me. You can easily do it. Easily.
Yeah, not yet though.
So Fire Beavers is the team that was on the other side here. But they talked about rotating away here. They're still there. And their problem is on this backside of them. They know there's a team fighting, so they don't really want to push that way. They do have a Valkyrie ult if they wanted to. But yeah, Apex is popping, big dog.
Тут один сквад слева остался.
Падаем вниз.
Прям сейчас?
Да.
Я 100 дал там. Окей.
You got Fnatic and APAC North.
Все, и медленно с смоками двигаемся.
Правый сход,
Смотрят справа, да?
Правый над нами.
Валька крак.
Большой банка.
У нас...
Я под них.
C9 actually just let their Apex roster go.
Там один лоу, там
They're stepping away from Apex.
Вот сюда можно вниз.
Я бегу к вам,
Большой банку ты.
Я под Кирюху. Не будут. Беги сюда, Лева.
Я вверх смотрю.
This is a risky take to go up high ground, but they could quickly rotate into circle from where they're at here.
Пока смоков нет.
Я ультую.
Вот этих по флангу.
Они сверху.
Vex Gaming's out. They get themselves more placement points if they get themselves inside that top 10.
Nice. Вот отсюда играем.
They should be able to rotate in where they're at here, so they should be fine.
Над нами.
Вот этих ебите фраеров. Их тоже кошмарят, их сверху вон оттуда ебут.
Corpa out too.
Надо походу дальше куда-то подсейфить. Не, вот здесь норм пока. Я килюсь.
Я назад в спот ушел, я назад к Кирюхе спот.
Давай, у меня тут нормально. Просто сядь тут, Лева.
Are they fighting Alliance? No, Alliance on the other side of the circle.
Дал большую.
Тут над нами, короче, тройка, и перед нами не вижу никого больше.
Надо вальковаться, прям сейчас, я думаю.
Или
им не дают, стоп.
Не дают
нас кошмарить.
Бля, не давай.
So they have a long rotate here. I mean, they...
Зачильте.
And I think they already used their Valkyrie, right? Didn't they already use it? Twitch with the cock block. Yeah, hate to see it. Let's go on board with Alliance here.
Safe on me, super safe on me.
I wanna cry. Game sucks. Guys, don't pick our feet. Here our feet.
It's a pretty solid spot, honestly, here for Alliance. You do have to worry about people looking up underneath, like by the water, but... Let's jump back on board with LFO Forever here.
No, you can't. The team on top is gonna shoot you.
They've got a pretty decent rotate in their own right here to try and wrap out. Yeah, this is going to be them going out, I think, here. Unless Light can rat it out. I mean, the good news is you go out in 9th, though, so... You've at least gotten yourself the extra placement point, but I don't think they have any KP, so... Let's go jump on board somewhere else. Let's see where someone's fighting at.
Hard, Cam. Don't say it. They have to come down. They're literally dead, bro.
I know.
Victus is in a solid spot, man. They're in zone.
We'll lose fences. This team is playing caustic, okay, guys? In the opposite building to us. Let's start the height now. Start the height team. Here comes the EMP. Just replace the fences, Grace, on the back door first, and then the front.
I hate that I, like, can't have...
Yeah, just do it on the cross. We're fine.
I'm selling.
Yep. Wait.
Team on our house!
Yeah, it's the duo. Can you refence the front door? Refence the front door, Grace.
Yeah, I did. I will refence it again, though. Yeah, sorry.
I'm holding this duo. If they swing in this door, they die.
Jake, hold me, Papa.
All right, so they're now top 6 here where they're at. They're in the middle of this zone. Honestly, Invictus might go back-to-back.
Can you guys start trying to figure out where other teams are? Because it's one team.
Because the zone's closing in on their backside, on the one side.
Yeah. I think we should just fucking swing out the door and kill the duo, maybe even.
Well, yeah, I know what you mean. This
Yeah,
one here.
yeah.
Shit, but look at the
But
fucking
it's the zone will hurt a lot.
No, it's 3 points. I think
Yo,
it's 3 points.
we win with the zone, literally.
Yeah, just play for consistency.
Yeah, they just play. Yeah, they play zone here. There's no reason to push out.
My ult deck now.
Guys,
Jake, you
can maybe move armors or nades or shit. Do we have any
Yeah,
spare
I can move armors.
wait, do I put the gen now? I think I do, so they can't break my fences and shit.
Yeah. Go for
Yeah,
it.
probably. That's a smart play, actually. I was gonna say wait later so you can have it for later, but you want to keep it now. Yeah, IG's in a really solid spot here.
We got one team above us. We got 2 teams fighting here. Maybe I can get a kill here.
Do we have anybody that's fighting currently?
The wall just came down.
So Aurora's on the opposite side. They're actually in a fight. I don't know who they're fighting against. Ooh. This is tough because they're pinched behind them. They have nowhere to go, so they need to push up through this. Oh no, this is gonna be Aurora going out, man. You need to hit a couple of those wingman shots. Yeah, Aurora's gonna be out here. IG's has a team, I think, right outside their door, it sounds like.
Boys, do I hold EMP here and use it late game? I feel like I don't. It just griefs us. I think I use it early on a team to grief them, okay?
Yeah, use it here, especially if you can buy some space getting out of that door. Would be big for them.
They have to move out the building soon.
So we're now top 5 with Aurora officially going out here.
We just lost Chen.
I'm fencing.
Oh, I lost my drone.
I just used my thermite.
I'm moving up these armors.
Where are the teams at? So you know you got one team across the way. That's big. That's nice.
You're fine. We still have armor swaps in this corner.
Got a kill.
They've got themselves a couple swaps in the corner there too, man. Yo, Invictus is like loaded right now.
I don't have any more fences, Jake.
So Scars is out here, so they're now top 4. Honestly, you might send out your drone now to try and buy space. Oh wait, he said he lost his drone, didn't he?
I got one.
Up top, isn't it? It's a duo up top, isn't it?
Should we
Yes.
swing them now?
No, not yet.
Wait.
No,
Shoot this wall.
Yeah, I'm trying.
Yeah, break their cover there, and then you can walk in with a little bit of cover on your left.
Climbing.
Yeah, I'm healing.
That's a big call. That's big by Graceful here. They've got one down, which means there's only one more left up top. If you can get this down, you've got all sorts of space on the left. That's big. There it is. Back to back here for IG, for Invictus Gaming here. Yo, yo, dude, honestly, that climb up top with the EMP was perfectly placed. That was beautiful.
I fucking walked and it just dropped down.
That was so amazing to watch. Sheesh.
Dude, I am
crazy, man.
On World's Edge, this team seems to be the squad. They know where to rotate. They played it perfectly. We saw all those teams move over towards Geyser right at the start of the game. But IG quite sensibly didn't go too far east. They held themselves on the western side, knowing that it could pull either way. They didn't bank on a really far eastern pull, and it worked out for them.
I mean, the story is IG.
All right, who's got the echo?
Mark. It doesn't get clearer than that.
Yeah, I mean, what a performance. They've made a couple of endgame calls. There's always moments in endgame, and there's a lot of teams that we watch and we talk about, you know, they're really good at finding a good spot early on. They get to top 5, but then that's kind of it, right? They kind of hold that spot. They're not able to.
They were smart because they talked about pushing out early, and I actually probably would have too, but they stayed in place, and that was just
the game. That call was to play Roof, to take Na'Vi, and take that 3v3 fight, force them
9 KP to their name too.
The line of sight of Alliance, who would have done some more damage to them. That was the decision, and to do that amount of damage to force them off of height into the line of sight of the other team, that was the difference maker, not getting knocked themselves. So IG played it absolutely perfectly. It reminds me a little bit of a game that we saw finish over at Dome a couple of weeks ago, where IG won that one as well, and they were like, we have to take this 3v3 fight inside if we want to win it. They did, and they won it straight away. So I think the calls that are being made by the IGL and backed up as well by the co-IGL have been incredible, and that's why we've seen Invictus go back to back.
I mean, are we seeing that be the difference, Dan? Is it the ability to have the decision making so on point that not only the stat you're bringing up with 75% win percentage in top 5, but just what Mark brought up, the very specific execution of these final circles? Do they just have better information, better communication? In terms
I think when you listen into them, their communication is huge.
I think that stat says a lot.
Even when it gets hectic, it's very composed in the chat, right?
8 top 5s on World's Edge this season, and they've won 6 of them. There will be a lot of teams that have got more top 5s, right, across maps, but they aren't finding those victories. So it does come down to those decision-making calls when you are in the end game of when you push, who should be pushing, what angles are you watching, how weak are the other teams. And I just feel like IG at the moment, they are on top of all of those.
So Bulba, are you guys doing a little bit of a break
it seems like throughout the split, when they make those mistakes, it's
before the next event, or are you guys already planning to start
like
as soon as the new year starts?
Their strategy and their success seems to be coming from
probably not that soon, I would imagine,
and
right?
I do feel like having an IGL plus a co-IGL who used to IGL for other squads is going to help, because you've almost got double the brain power on those calls, and as long as they're on the same wavelength, as long as they are working together on those calls, it just creates for such an
and I was thinking back to it, so I was talking about whole like wanting to do shorts thing, you know what I mean, off of like the watch parties. We've got a couple of shorts that have already popped off for a couple hundred views. Like, it's not much, a couple hundred off YouTube shorts. It's a new
as well. That's
YouTube that like I'm kind of trying to grow organically, you know.
For IG International Alliance take another second place and find themselves with 19 points, able to really showcase how well
so y'all do start like immediately.
They are going into this third game mark. It just seems like World's Edge, we know it's their map, but truly showing that is something you can count on.
Yeah, and I want to highlight as well that Alliance, that's a big game for them. That is a huge game.
I guess because you guys are also trying to keep your push going for partner too, yeah?
From Thermal Station, and they made some really smart decisions on how they wanted to fight and when they wanted to fight. That fight against Aurora, it went on for quite some time, but they knew the longer that they held out, the more damage they do. That Aurora at some point would have to leave the kind of tunnel, go into the building, and then there was another line of sight from the likes of Na'Vi, Invictus, Scars, who were all
we do have it, so let's go ahead and update our score commands here.
So they were going to take damage. So all these little things that Alliance are thinking, forcing teams to pinch, forcing teams into the line of sight of others. It's been a masterclass of edge play so far from Alliance.
Dan, on the back half of this, bottom 10 through 20, what are we thinking?
I'd say that there's a few teams that, again, I'm worried about. One of them being Nightmare Esports. It's another death right off the drop against Corpo, and it is slowly ruining their chances of thinking about the glory times of LAN. And, you know, regionals may be still possible for them, of course, with how close they are.
So DZN in a tough spot, man. They were in 8th going in today. They have 1 point.
Do they challenge it again? Would be my biggest question going into match number 3 on our last
one
of World's
Game
Edge.
Ward was sitting in 11th. They're at 6 points.
Been able to pick up pace today. Element 6, Game Ward. You know, all 3 of those teams, Element 6, Game Ward, Nightmare, the last 2 times these guys faced against each other, they were up there, right? They were doing damage in this lobby, but just
not VZD2.
And these are the bubble teams as well. Right. Remember that we talked about at the start. You got VZN. I know that they've had to play as a duo for a couple of games, but
that's
then you've
insane.
got E6, Gamewood. All of these teams, we were saying, they need to force their way into the top 9. They need to force their way into the higher parts of the leaderboards, and this is their opportunity to do so. At the moment, they're letting that chance slip. 4 games to go. We need to see something more from them.
I mean, the point you're making is that it's not guaranteed when you get into the regional final that you're going to be able to win that thing. And especially with all the teams, the caliber of teams that are there, they are already proven winners.
Doesn't bother you too much. I think that's a good idea, honestly.
That even if
it'll come eventually.
Okay or they get close,
plus, like,
they get enough points.
I don't know. I think a lot of people hype up partner too much. Maybe that's easy for me to say as someone that's like a partner that
I feel like this is the opportunity.
Kind of got gifted partner, luckily, but
you're absolutely right, Mark, on hitting that nail on the head. This is everything for Game War, for V2, for VZN, for E6, for Nightmare. They're not performing. This is not how they wanted. Can they shift it in Game 3? IG International, though.
Hell yeah, bro. Even with the technical difficulties and stuff, that's
20
huge.
points already in the lead. 48 points. We see a lot of teams end with 48 points on the day. They've got that in 2. And that final circle, that final fight, I think that kind of says it all on why they're doing so well. And let's take a look back. I mean, too, this fight started, and I don't know if you were catching this. I know you were on break, Mark, but just Aurora and Alliance. I mean, what a masterclass of chess right here between the back and forth.
I mean, this is the fight I was talking about from Alliance. It might seem a little bit scrappy. It might seem a little bit like it's not quite going their way. But I love the fact that they kept pressurizing it because they knew they had to make a play.
It seems that even though
if they want a chance of success in winning this game, Aurora have to be dealt with.
DBD as a whole is kind of down. It seems like the competitive scenes that are staying alive and being consistent are growing, which is cool.
For the next 30 seconds, then you allow the teams across.
I even noticed that with a couple of smaller like NAEU
scars inside of the building there. They have to leave. They have to fight. And
so this is the last day here. This is just a replay from game number 2. We're about to be loaded into game 3.
So that one fight was absolutely brilliant from them.
Yeah, they grabbed that fight, and then that obviously resulted in 2-3. It ended up being 4 or 5 placements for them. So that fight
Invictus Gaming went back to back.
G-Dolphin bringing out the Kraber.
So they're in a really good spot right now.
Not enough legs, but it was Na'Vi who I thought.
While this is talking in the background, we can go look at it.
More than just 2 up on top because they did have a decent position, Dan.
Sorry, by the way, flashbang. I can't do anything about it.
The demise of Scars in that game. You saw it briefly from the third-person point of view.
So Invictus Gaming, I don't want to say they can let their foot off or they can cruise the rest of the day, but they could basically cruise the rest of the day.
Final circle, but sometimes timing is everything, and they weren't quite able to.
Teams to keep an eye on. V2 was in 10th.
Considering the position they did
going into today, I'll actually even
in the final circle
turn this down a little bit. So V2 is in 10th going into today. So they need a big day to qualify.
They could push out. They could be aggressive. They timed it perfectly.
Fire Beavers, like I would probably say like right above what the cutoff line is going to be, but they would still probably prefer a decent day. So they're in a tough spot after 2 games.
And said, you know what, we're gonna make everyone before we push out.
Well,
VZN
great games. We've seen
is an 8th going into today. They have 1 point.
Apart from the pack, we've also seen great performances from Alliance. I think start a fight.
Element 6 is in 12th going into today.
Back of that, but
and they don't have any points. So a couple teams need to step up in these last couple of lobbies here. There's still 4 games left. That's the good news. But
game 3, last game on World's Edge.
If you're a World's Edge team, this is your last chance to get anything going. Maybe a couple of these teams that are about to pop off on Storm Point. We don't know for sure, right?
Can they keep it up? Can they cushion their point lead enough so that Storm Point isn't a problem? Or will someone else steal the show here in game 3? Let's hand it over to Onset and Gaskin to find out.
And so EU is one of the regions that does get
in today's action, and we head over to Storm Point.
10 teams at LAN. So they'll take the top 9 based off of points through the season, and then whoever wins at regional. And regional is top 20 teams.
Else is still so close. So there's still
and that's match point. That'll be Sunday. We'll be watching. Oh, will we be watching that over here though?
Especially here in this game number 3, and we can see a lot of shifting in that.
We'll be flipping back.
What I was about to say is I want to see Invictus tested in a circle that maybe isn't as comfortable for them. Remember, they're dropping just north of Lava Siphon.
I think we're also going to be sitting in on
very close to their local drop spot. We've seen the stats across the season. It is more likely you are going to win a game if that circle does pull towards your drop spot. We won't take anything away from IG, but
what kind of killer would you want to see to be
that win percentage? Can they get into the
decent?
top 10?
Yo, Boba, I'm telling you, bro. Like Apex is
a little bit more northwest.
Running.
We can see teams like Fire Beavers who can have beacon information, they can move early. Element 6 are going to be happy up towards Trials as well because they've got that beacon information from Skyhook. And even Vex Gaming over towards Staging, they would have got the beacon on that western side of the map, so they can also move in.
There's too. I think
that can have all that extra info.
Element 6 is an org, right? It's a smaller org. Scars is an org, smaller org, but they're also
where
in.
We could maybe imagine that.
But yeah, there's also some Na'Vi right now is on threat of relegation.
One of those endings as well.
Meaning they might have to be playing in Challenger Circuit to get back into Split 2.
Teams are going to be heading towards Countdown, trying to hold down a couple of those kind of shed-like buildings around the outside of it and play from there. IG already on their way down. They love a quick rotate, and you can see exactly why. Because if they get in a good spot, they get top 5. Usually they win.
Yeah, we haven't got to see their rotation for the last 2 games because they've kind of just done it under the radar a little bit. We've been watching these early games.
Honestly, they kind of rotated late. I think they rotated towards that last one in zone 3, really.
Rotates from them. We saw it on the map overhead of how quickly they were moving, especially in the first game where the circle was going towards Lava Siphon. They
looking over at our multi-screen chat. I don't see anybody close to a fight or anything yet. Actually,
because they were unsure where that circle was going to be, but they're really committed once they saw that zone 3 and 4 information of where they...
Jeden na mnie pańce! Kraka ma! Kraka ma! Pomóżcie mi!
Pomóż mu! Leży! Zero
Man.
Zwingują we mnie!
That's them going down early here too.
Na mnie!
Nightmare gonna be out early yet again. Sheesh.
Ja mówiłem, że potrzebuję helpa, czy nie?
Looks like it looks like Invictus is rotating out. They'll be rotating in early. They've already got that beacon scan, so they know where this next one is.
Wait, go left side, go left side.
I am. Yeah, I am. Just triple swing this motherfucker! Go in!
Yeah.
Okay, there's no one here. There's no one here. I was ready though. If I was dead,
I can hit the beacon from here.
Yes.
This is a really good cool, by the way, Grace. Really good cool. The only problem is, like, it's not a problem. But the only thing
I would love to get
maybe that's center on the left. Yeah.
a full map
I'll drone it.
Wait, what do we? No, I saw fences there.
to at least see where this next zone's going. Like, well, we know that they're already in this next zone.
No, just look.
Currently.
I saw it when we were flying. Maybe it's free.
There is fences here, but
it's free. We should grab that then.
Yeah, we should. Let's go. Run. My drone's on the far west side.
Have you got EMP in case?
Yes, but they'll break it because it's parked in the glass. We fight for a team if they come, okay?
Yeah. Oh, break the fence!
What am I doing? I can just fly over it.
We're good.
All right, so they're chilling here for a bit.
Wait, Grace, you got a scout for me, no?
Yes, swap me, please.
Doesn't look like we've got anybody fighting just quite
give
yet.
me the fucking car, bro.
Yeah, that's fine.
It's like a countdown skyhook-ish circle.
Next one up. Scout the next one up. No. I see fences.
Let's go back on over to the main broadcast here.
You would have seen it on a couple of the POVs, people who did have that beacon information, as Mark alluded to, going towards Countdown. We've already got about 9 to 10 teams that have made their way to Countdown and will be hunkering down. We've seen so many defensive legends come into the equation here, Mark. But now the bigger question for me is those who aren't at Countdown, for example, the likes of Fire Beavers, what are they going to do? Who are they going to push? Are they going to push? And how many kills can they pick up?
I mean, something tells me from their comp, they're looking to play more edge map anyways, right? Running the bangs here.
Many teams as they can, and then
they're trying to pick up as much KP as possible.
Everybody else kind of stacked up within Countdown at the moment,
which makes sense with where they're sitting at right now.
Telling you, we can see off screen. It just means that they will have a much more comfortable rotation, but the mid game for them is going to be the important part. If they can clear this side of the map and force teams maybe to head north through Skyhook or maybe just into their reticles as they try and cross and take the KP themselves.
Looking over at our split screen, doesn't look like we have any other fights or anything going on here currently, chat.
But a lot of work to do for them from here.
Yeah, so much work to do. That's the thing is when you see a circle like this,
looks like they do got a squad that's here at Epicenter here.
Rotated there early, so it becomes for you a big amount of mid-game presence you need. You need to be
look at all those teams already shoved up in there, dude, at Countdown. My goodness, bro.
That side of the circle so that you can then bully your way in from those teams who are already holding it. But there's going to be other teams playing that way as well. You can see Alliance.
But you'll see where Fire Beavers is at up here. Like, they're looking to play edge map, so they'll probably rotate over towards, like, Skyhook, I would imagine.
When they hear noise, when they see potential
off this Valkyrie ult after they win this fight.
Together on the same side,
and then they'll rotate in from there. However, if this fight goes too much longer, it looks like Scars might be looking to rotate over there.
Well, you can see Fire Beavers currently in a fight with V2.
Yeah, TTK is a little bit longer, Bull, but
a little bit north towards
I like it though because it allows for the
height and make this a little bit more difficult for Fire Beavers.
Abilities and stuff to come back into play a little bit more.
Just wanted to get involved and wanted to, like I mentioned, be aggressive and take.
Allows for teams to have to play a little bit more strategic, so you can dive back behind cover and heal, so you can't always just full send off of like a shield break.
Always going to have that better LOS from high ground down to low ground. So Firebeaver's being pretty smart about how they actually work this one, and it looks like they've actually moved back towards the high ground of Epicenter themselves to overlook Fragment instead. And
all right, so Countdown's still in the following circle. It looked like there from the little bit we saw, but it did look like
a couple of pop shots,
it was rotating down, like kind of that open space a little north of staging. Though that could be an interesting end game.
Avoid one another just because Firebeavers may continue their rotation on in, and V2 might be a little bit hesitant to chase them too quickly. But also down here with Foot Esports, Alliance are in the vicinity. They could very easily clash as they move.
Yeah, IG got benefit of early zone pull this time.
Because if you win it, you
so they didn't need to rotate too far.
Yeah, it's a very good point. You have a complete south side control, like you say, and be able to.
Nobody that we're watching right now is
closer to Countdown, and with teams being
out just quite yet. We do have Nightmare is out. Nobody else is fighting though.
Opportunities that present themselves, but here is Corpa now. Zerafil with a nice spray, but not enough to break the shields. It's always nice to find a little purple bolt waiting for you.
Corpa right now is trying to fight to get out of relegation.
Corpa at the moment just trying to.
They would need a pretty solid day too, which is tough. Right now they're sitting in 10th. They would need like a top 5 day. I think.
30 spray through the window, followed by another set of
maybe like top 8.
Isn't going to be enough to really set the ignition for this fight to continue. So instead, they're just going to continue their rotation. Eye on that clock, of course, with the zone closing. Always have to think, do we have enough time for this fight?
I mean, this is still zone 2, so most of the teams aren't going to be looking to fight right now. They're going to look to rotate over and get into position.
Briefly saw the Catalyst there, and again, we've not seen her in the end game for these first 2. Even though the Corpa have had a couple of good fights, and the Catalyst really has helped out with those engagements by blocking.
Sit on board with Aurora real quick. Looks like they're getting pushed on. The Maggie just had to fall back. They're up by Skyhook. They're still in this next zone. But I think the zone pool, it looked like it was going to be a little bit south of them. So they're eventually going to need to rotate out. Anybody else fighting currently? No, they're the only ones it looks like currently. So Alliance rotating into... They're probably just going to chill on their... Oh, I'm pressing the wrong button. My bad, chat. I'm like, yo, why isn't it muting? It's because I kept pulling up my second monitor. That's my fault. I thought Alliance was going to run into a little bit of trouble here rotating in.
Yeah, it's not bad. It's not bad. I can scout it a little bit.
Of course, Alliance has the ability with that Newcastle to be able to create a little bit of their additional cover if they want to. And it does actually indeed look like a lot of these teams that were in Countdown are going to end up needing to rotate down more towards Fissure.
I'm gonna keep moving.
I actually think this is going to... I actually think this is going to end up being an end circle that's like...
Okay.
In between Fissure and Countdown in like that no-name area, it looks like potentially.
Oh, he's out of me.
Cracked him, flash.
Outside as well.
Yeah, they're aping.
Really good job to be able to bounce back and be able to get the cover.
Play space. Careful. Careful effect.
I'm going back.
Yeah, go back.
So they're in zone where they're at, but they should probably get back to this next...
Oh, dog shit. That's a fucking Vex play if I've ever seen one. Literally read like an open book.
Read like an open book, he says. You love it.
We take this building? I don't see anyone. That's in next zone.
I don't see anyone back here as well.
Yeah, but we don't know go out there. If we go out
yeah, if I were them, I would sit on the edge donut here. Even this building where they're at, they're rotating over to wouldn't be bad.
Yeah.
Because then you're all the way on the edge of zone. It's a pretty good spot. Let's take a quick look with K20 and team over here with E6.
Can we fight that somehow?
Yeah, you want to drop down and fight it?
Wait. I'm 2 seconds behind. 2 seconds behind.
Yeah, so we drop down. Can we drop down? Can you scan?
Yeah,
Go. 5 seconds. Okay, open guard door.
They're on us.
On it.
Push down in 120.
So that gets them the Valk down.
Get the kill.
Where's the other one at? The other couple at is the question. Looks like they're in through this tunnel here. They need to push before the zone comes down. There's one down. Get rid of the caustic here, but unfortunately not before the gas gets in there.
He's dead.
And there you go. That's going to be Scars out.
Nice to push.
I have 0 heavy.
Nice push here from Element 6.
Go back up. Scan top.
Fire Beavers here going to be needing to rotate in. You can see they got themselves quite a bit of a rotate. Zone's going to be at their back, so they kind of need to move with a sense of urgency here. The smoke will buy him a little bit of cover, but it looks like they're just going to opt to go up here for the Valkyrie, I would imagine. They just have to worry to make sure that they got themselves a safe rotate here off of that.
Справа пропала?
Трак есть, справа не знаю я, сейчас скажу. Справа пропала.
Is Vex pushing E6? No, they're pushing a new team. Alright, so they'll be able to get the clear. The question is, do they have anybody around here that's going to come in for a third party, potentially? That is Invictus Gaming there, that's out.
That's IG out as well. That's perfect. I'm
to Vexed.
I'm gonna look for you. Oh, wait, left side? So I didn't meant to left you, but I didn't know you were in the
It's fine, it's fine, it's fine.
Big fight for them.
Yeah, now there is also swing on this.
Well fucking played this. But yeah, if IG is here, then it's definitely ending here. 100%, because they had the next beacon as well.
Ash 120.
Use 80.
Sit on board with Element 60 or Alliance here as they need to rotate in. They're still down here just outside of Fissure. Or they're in Fissure, technically. They're on the south side of it, though. That's outside of this zone that's rotating in.
Yeah, there's a team on a nut zone. Where's the drone?
You can see where Effect's at, though. The Effect's locking down the building that they wanted to be in, right? So, like, there's...
They don't have out.
Can you watch behind us?
Yeah, I'm watching behind us.
One underneath, all three of them underneath. They're all running up high.
They're going back. They're going back.
All coming up high now. They're going to fight this. Coming to you.
They don't have fuse ult now.
It's good. We just keep getting... They don't have Valk. They don't have Valk. They have to come.
Yeah. They must have Ash here.
So we're now top 16. Third ring is going to be closed here in 20 seconds.
I'm playing bottom.
Aurora's getting pushed up on here. They're down to... They've already got Ranches down. Cleave's about to go down. It's going to be all left to the Caustic here. That's going to be Aurora taken out.
Just watch out. There's nobody pulls up here, yeah? Just keep watching that as well, Chief.
Oh, now Alliance getting
I'm queuing effect. I'm
pushed on here.
Come with me, Yuki. Come with me.
I like that play here to be able to push up, to be able to get that, and that's going to be that big Newcastle value coming in. The only problem, though, is now Yuki's down underneath.
Batting.
Yeah, you're good.
2v2.
You can drag me.
Let's say Yuki might be able to actually get picked up here. Oh, dude, that's tough.
One of the stairs, you have to drag me fast. Coming upstairs. My stairs. You got sucked. You got sucked. You can still drag me.
Dragon.
Knocked one.
Close the door on me.
Get the corner.
Closing the door immediately.
I'm sitting on the door.
Alright, so they got the core. The door effect's still going to be a little bit low. Hawkins needs to push out and buy a little bit of space. Nice play there. He's one shot up on the top.
He's on my kill, going up.
Yeah, he's running.
He's going west.
He's one shot in lava.
That's big.
He's one shot in lava.
Really well done there to be able to use that
I gotta go left stream.
Newcastle there to be able to get the full reset in the middle of the fight. And now they're fully refreshed. They didn't get the team wipe, I don't think, but they got themselves a couple of KP. Really well done by Alliance there.
Fun. We have a good spot though. If someone pulled us, we're fucking great. Just clear our back and we win this game, boys. Clear our back and we win this game.
Yeah. Take this bad, boys.
Absolutely, I'm good.
See if anybody else is fighting here currently.
Okay, Solo is in the lava, in the corner back here. I'm just clearing my side here. I'm looking, they're fighting hard, bro. Fighting hard in there.
I'm gonna go package a little bit. In fact, you watch you off north side.
I can hold Solo. Okay. They're not doing shit. They're just fighting inside.
They're
not even peeking.
Alright, they're gonna be vibing here.
I wanna come and set up a wall so I can get a.
So LFO forever right now getting pushed in. Remember, they need another big game. They're looking for a big solid area. They're gonna be getting.
I am. They might swing on the left. I'm watching left. Watch right, Lucky.
Yeah, I'm
on the left.
Swinging.
Oh, that's big shots. Oh no. He's cracked behind. Oh, he got the armor swap. Not like this, bro. Oh, dude. Wait. Oh, dude. The armor swap killed him there, man. Oh, that's a whole other squad pulling up, actually, right?
Yeah, but we need to play like...
No. It's not... no offense, like we went down and that was it. Like...
I can get angles on them below.
Yeah.
Oh, no, they're going towards donut.
You can be aggressive if you want. If you fly up and down, you can be aggressive. I don't have ulti now.
Yeah. Give me on then. Let me do that.
One sec, I'm batting.
Nah, I think we should just let it be there.
You should.
It's hard to do anything.
11's close alive, we're chilling.
Over there.
So Alliance is good because they're going to have the zone, basically zones their backside, right? So you don't have to worry about anyone rotating in behind them. The question is, where's this next zone go? They do have to rotate a little bit here. But they've got the high ground on the rotate in. They're safe right over there. They need to move in.
Look.
There's 9 squads. If they push up here, they need to make sure that they can close in on this.
Fight them.
That's big.
It's a full team.
Yeah, I'm doing this.
Back up.
Batting, crack one.
It's gonna be a big crack in there.
They're getting fucked by the other team.
They've been able to insert themselves into this fight without being too deep in, right? So they can back up if they need to here.
We're good here. We're just playing it slow. Play it slow.
They're getting shot.
I was gonna say they have to be aware of what they see up above them, though, right? They've got to team up to their top right that they need to worry about.
I'm gonna swing.
Keep the low.
Oh!
Nice slow. Norman back. Carry right side.
First hit.
I think they need to push up to their. They need to be worried about that team up to their top right.
Up at the backside. We need to take our spot back.
Yeah, I'm popping selling Queen.
I'm taking it. We're good.
I say because there's literally a team right on the other side here.
I think we oob the roof here. I think we oob the roof and I wall it. I have normal bats though. Normal bats.
I got 2 bats. I'm dropping you 1.
So when they say oob, chat, that means out of bounds. They're gonna land somewhere that's technically out of bounds, allows them to fall quicker and have a little bit more control.
Yeah. We want the low ground right side.
So what they're looking at doing is they're gonna hit the top, right above where that roof is, and then they're gonna fall off of the top in that out of bounds area and land on the roof.
The lower part of the house on the roof.
Yeah. Team on the roof.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm slamming them.
Are we moving from
I'm
here?
knocking them off. Yeah, oob them.
Okay.
I'm going.
Okay, I'm late.
Okay, I'm going.
I ulted them. They dropped. We good.
Break it.
So that's good though, because they also have those rampart walls there that'll actually help them. That's a really big push by them to be able to take this high ground.
Come in low ground.
And they're in this next zone as well, dude. Alliance is in such a good spot here.
Kill one.
50 flash. Nice.
Sweet. On the roof.
Yeah, they'll be able to zone out here, then they'll be able to know that there's a team underneath them to the right. No, Twitch is gonna do me like this. Bruv. That hurts.
I need bets. I'm dropping.
We're jumping on board with Alliance right back when we get to get in there.
One team in the building.
Oh, he's got 3 ads too. Oh, brother.
Crack two.
So the only problem with where Alliance is at, Vexed is looking at him, and then across the way they'll be able to be looked at as well because they're on a they're on the roof. Yeah, now Vex is gonna try and move in off of this.
I think it's 2 teams. I'm with Hello. I don't. Okay. Go back there. Yeah, okay.
Now they're gonna have to fall back here.
Then you just have to swing right left.
I need heavy light. I have no ammo.
Okay, we keep swinging.
30 seconds still left on Alliance's view. Come on, big dog. Good call here to swing.
130. Really good ult. Wait.
So much damage. That's a lot of damage. They need to not over push this though because there's still a couple teams left.
Popping about. I swing.
Nice play here to be able to swing and keep this fight alive. That's another big fight here for Vex. They need to finish this fight. They need to finish this fight and refresh. Because the other 2 are still on the roof across the way. That's big.
Looking.
They're fighting.
I'm dead.
Alliance just got done with the fight, but Alliance... Oh, dude, Vex is going to win this here because Vex has time still left. That's going to at least be able to push somebody away, but Alliance falls here to Vex. Big win for Vex there.
Well played. Second.
Alliance just unfortunately had 2 fall during their fight, whereas Vex just needed to hit a quick heal and...
Always wins that every time, so second place is good.
Nah, the team on the left one. They killed the bottom team.
Tough, man.
Team on the left just rolled the...
At least.
Saw there was weaknesses around. They saw there were teams that were maybe unknowingly around to them as well. And I think that really they were able to catch off a couple of teams there and they made it count.
Vex, the team that I thought should have been in the conversation earlier, but we had too many storylines to talk about.
All right, chat, I'm going to go to that cute thing. We're going to watch this.
We didn't mention their names because they have been playing lights out over the last few days, and they continue to do so here with a dominant performance. IG won. IG did a great job winning, but Vex, it feels like they dominated in this last game. And I feel also that this could spell problems for the rest of this lobby. Vex fighting for something completely different, but taking a lot of points in the same way, Mark. If they win today, 25 points added on to, I believe, the 88 or so that they have, 82 it might be, you could 86. Be guaranteeing a spot at LAN in all intents and purposes of the word if they could win today.
Yeah, 100%. You know, this is why this week is so interesting, right? This is why this week is so vital to a lot of teams, because the teams like Vex, who are in great positions, have done a lot of heavy lifting to get here. One good game here, and they don't have to panic too much next week. They can just have 1 or 2 good games, and they're going to land. That's great. It's the teams who are kind of in that position who have a couple of slow games. They're like, oh my goodness, next week is going to be far more hairy for us than we thought it might be. So Vex putting that win on the board, I think, is really important for them, just to give themselves a little bit of breathing room. And I think that final circle, the way they swung on that team down on the low ground, just completely caught them off guard. Clean as you like, no one went down, got the armor swaps, and then it was easy from there.
And it was Vex who took down IG International, Dan. They tried to play for that God spot, as you mentioned. Didn't work out this time.
Yeah, it's one of those that for IG, they look at how they want to play a game, and they looked at how far they had to rotate from their original spot and how early they rotated. They wanted to commit to one of those high percentage places, which is what they've had success throughout the day. But, you know, you're not going to hit every single one. You're never going to have that kind of 100% win rate in a game like Apex Legends. And unfortunately, they come across a very maybe angered and hot, fiery Vex who were waiting, were prepared for that team fight, and they were able to push on because of it. And I feel like that confidence they gained through those team fights had them so scary in that final circle as well, because Vex felt like they could just take on the world. They were taking angles, they were taking wide angles, they were exposing themselves.
I'm doing watch parties a lot. I should probably get Twitch Turbo, huh? Is that what it is?
Oh, the fight that's almost about to happen here, Mark, and that happened near one of those buildings.
We don't get ads.
Right here, Vex Gaming put on a little bit of a masterclass, getting in and out and around, making it so difficult for the team inside to even have a chance, and they certainly followed up with it.
Yeah, I mean, one thing that's really good about Vex is when they commit to a fight, they deathball, right? They all swing the same angle. There's not one player who's left out to dry. You can see that if a couple of players are healing, another one will swing. It's just baiting and switching at its best. And when you're going up against players who don't miss, like Tyler, Unlucky, and Matave, it becomes very, very difficult to do anything against that 3-person death ball. Towards the end game as well, you saw Effect went for a solo player to take him out to put Alliance in the top 2. He managed to do that, but it left them at a little bit of a disadvantage. Vex took advantage, and with 13 KP as well as the win, they end up with 25 points, which is a very, very strong game for them.
I should move them up quite a bit in the standings here.
And you got to say, I recommend, though IG have been at the top as well as Vex, Alliance have definitely been the most consistent team today in terms of their team fighting, their in-games, and that's got them another second place. 16 points, well out in the lead. Vex, Alliance, and IG. Game of Drones, Horizon, and Foot Esports,
they haven't updated it just quite yet.
Oh,
no, they did.
A team that I think has shown up, who is in the relegation battle, who is trying to even have a chance at this Pro League next split, and also regional land. Not as sincere. Doing a decent job, in my opinion, Dan, of staying in the mix. But of course, the teams on the back half of this have to pick it up at Storm Point.
Yeah, and I really hope there's something better for Nightmare Esports that waits on Storm Point, because they died off.
BZN needs a huge game. BZ or B2 needs a good game. Big game.
A team that is going to be making regionals and maybe even having the chance of making LAN, it has to be a bounce back situation. We know World's Edge and Storm Point can create 2 entirely different stories here. Well, it has to be their story. It has to be their time with that kind of performance.
If not, we will be in trouble. As you take a look at the main standings, our series standings thus far after 3, it is IG International up top. You had said it so perfectly that they were leading after 2 with 20 points, but it's probably going to get negated here. Yes, Alliance has been more consistent, and they obviously stayed into that final circle. Another second place. They're only 4 points behind. It's anybody's game up at the top, with Vex getting themselves in the mix with top 3. Mark, start a fight, though, a team 2 that I really, really enjoy looking at. They've been doing well today, and I'm excited to see if they can keep that up on Storm Point.
Yeah, definitely some improvement from them, but I think there's one word in that last sentence you said, which kind of puts the cat back among the pigeons, right? And that's Storm Point. Like, this is the change of pace.
So this is everything so far today.
Change of
Fire
spot,
Beavers
change of comps
in a good, like a decent spot, because they're in 10th. Again, they don't need a huge day.
Able to flip from one map to the next and keep a level of consistency.
Because they are in, what, 7th?
Teams in Apex Legends
they're in
at the moment.
6th.
Gone are the days. I've just been able to say
really what it is teams are going to be fighting to get in
no, you got to be able to
the bottom 3 spots
on the way that you want to move.
And with VZN not performing and V2 not performing,
Vex and Na'Vi actually deserve a little bit
at
more
least so far.
Giving them a big game, of course, from Vex puts them in the position they find themselves, but Na'Vi have been there or thereabouts in a couple of games now, and they were on the cusp of, you know, maybe thinking about relegation, maybe not making regional finals, or a good performance today.
Sorry, bottom 2 spots.
Be in those regional finals.
Yeah, they're really taking their own fate into their own hands. That's what we want to see in a day like this, where it's up to you. How do you perform? What position are you in? Are you ending up in at the end of the season? JMW certainly performing like answering the call. Graceful had mentioned he was being asked to get more aggressive. He certainly has. He's at the top of the leaderboards with the Young Gun effect on Alliance and Tyler FPS on Vex rounding out the top 3, Dan. It's a fitting top 3 for how well the first 3 games have fared so far.
Bambino's snapping.
Yeah, I think when we come into a week like this and we talk about the big teams and we talk about who should show up, sometimes there's usually a big team that kind of drops off, but that hasn't really happened today. Invictus, Alliance, and Vexed, our big 3, have all performed as they should have, and that's very important for them in their progression, not just into regionals,
Storm Point.
When they get into LAN, they need to make sure they are on top of their game. They can't be kind of dropping weeks here or there, because at LAN, of course, it is just one day of play where you really need to show up or you'll be going home. And for these guys, I mean, they really demonstrated that they are a team that shows consistency across the board, and I think that's what you need going into any sort of match point format.
Yeah, to me, another question that I like to ask is, how lethal are you? I think we're seeing teams, if you talk about a normal kitchen knife when you make a steak at home and then you try to, cut it up and you're not really going too fancy, versus when you go to the steakhouse and you get the special steak knife and you're ready to go. There's a difference. They're the same thing, but there's a difference. And I think that's what we're trying to see here too. Vex, Alliance, and IG showing that sharpness, that lethality in terms of how they're
probably going to take a little bit of a break here before heading to Storm Point.
A chance for the next 3 games.
Looks like they're already all loaded into the next lobby here.
Ultimately wins you championships and sends you into LAN. But Mark, let's talk about it. In fact, I think there's only one team to mention who have been our team focus over this first half. It's got to be IG International.
Yeah, I think IG have been very impressive. 2 back-to-back wins, 2 out of 3 of the games we've seen. Invictus have been holding that champions banner at the end of it. And to be honest with you, I think when we get to game 3 as well, there's also something to say about the decision they made. But getting into a great spot, being ahead of the rotation as well, and that zone 4 shift that we see that causes
this is what, game 2, right?
And as soon as they see a shift and they're not comfortable where they are, they go immediately. They try and fight for a spot. And they did that a couple of times in the games 1 and 2, and that ended up putting them in the
this was game 2
to win the game. This game
was the first game.
Simple for them in the end. Other teams not in a good enough position to really challenge them.
Really solid start for them here
to play with, so to speak, with it closing behind them. But I think this was the play of the day for me. Making this play off of the back of the EMP, challenging the team down from the high ground, and then just letting the rest of the teams do the work was really impressive for me.
Dan, is there still more to prove for IG? We've seen them take great positions, but sometimes in those 3v3 fights, I felt that they can be the lesser squad against the Vexed, against the Auroras. Do you think they still have that to prove in these next 3 games?
I think there's a lot to prove, especially
all right, I'm going to go heat up a burrito real quick.
About their percentages of wins when it comes to World's Edge and how many times they get first place. On Storm Point, they haven't found a victory yet this split, and they've had a few seconds and thirds that have come from top 5s as well, and still great percentage statistics on that side, but not finding that victory could prove to be a real nail-biter when you get into match point format, because it's all well and good getting to match point, but then suddenly if you're on Storm Point for a map or 2, you say, well, we've not found a victory all season. How are we going to be able to survive for 2 more games before we get back to World's Edge?
Well, that's always a question, and you fellas know the best at the championship. You got to swap 2 and 2. So if you get the job done on World's Edge, you hit match point, then you got 2 Storm Point games, you're going to be feeling sad unless you figured out the key to unlock it on both maps. But of course, teams who are trying to figure out that key to unlock a chance of the Pro League, that's still going on, and the opportunities are plentiful. Challenger Circuit number 4, registration closes January 4th, and we're going to keep an eye on our Challenger Circuit number 3, which it is already closed. That was yesterday, our last opportunity, but we'll let you know who wins that one. Again, teams who are now in our 23rd to 30th spot after today, that's where they end. We'll know those teams. They will have a chance to get back into Pro League, but they will have to fight their way with these other Challenger Circuit teams to get a spot. So it's a deadly situation. You definitely want to come out on top and make sure you have your best performance today. It's do or die a little bit. We're halfway through, but one of my favorite things is happening. We're switching maps. Storm Point coming up after this. Well, life is good when you get to cast Storm Point, but also when you get to cast it with an award-nominated play-by-play caster. I had to bring it up. Mark,
all right, Chad.
This is just a privilege for me to be able to bring in this game for with you as we switch maps. And from the horse's mouth, man, I mean, congratulations. Obviously, Pansy won, but in my hearts, I know the Apex community's hearts. You won. You won for us. You won for me.
Yeah, let's still talk about it, right? Congratulations, Pansy. Completely deserved it. She's amazing. But yeah, very strange, surreal situation. Yeah, let's move on. Let's talk about Storm Point. Let's not talk about me. Let's talk about the games that are going on.
He said, "Why not talk about me? Because you're the GOAT, baby."
I'm checking. Great setup though, Mark. I mean, too, just the fact that we've got.
All right, chat. So we're going on to Storm Point now.
It is now the time that things are getting to that.
Gonna be a big game for a couple teams here. We know that V2, VZN need to really step it up here on Storm Point.
I'm looking for comp changes. I'm looking for.
I hate to say it, but I don't think Forge is going to be qualifying. They don't get to move their total at all today. They're at 57 points. Something tells me a couple of these teams are going to be above them here, so they're going to have to rely on a big game at regionals.
All of a sudden, you got a nightmare in the back of your head for the next 2 games after this one. So
looks like everyone's just now landed, so we don't have any early engagements. Doesn't look like as far as on our
for drop spots, no real contesting going down, and I think that's good news. Not only for us,
POV's side, at least not yet.
As well, but I might stand corrected because V2 and Scars, I caught him out of the corner of my eye down there.
Ooh.
Fish farms, things are looking a little bit fishy.
May need to switch over to that as soon as we can. Here it is, V2.
Yeah, V2 needs to win this engagement, man. If they end up dropping another like 0-point game, I don't know if they can bounce back enough to be able to be in the spot for regionals or for LAN, I should say. They're qualified for regional, but
first fight. Joke on the blue, maybe the most.
Yeah, it's gonna be tough, man.
My goodness, the Prowler right back from Jerovich.
Oh, Scars down though.
But they're eliminated as Joke swings around the back with the wingman. So V2.
Okay. So V2 needs a big game. They start off with a couple KP. That's big for them.
V2 stand tall, and that is such.
Do we have anybody in our main side fighting? It doesn't look like it. So we're gonna go ahead and stay on board here for just a moment.
On Storm Point. Well, that is gonna be the case for Scars. They've had a little bit of a ropey season so far, it has to be said. Obviously, a lot of changes from the what we would call the historic lineup, if you like, of course, Taishin, RPR, and Mandy. But the new looking lineup not looking too good at the moment, and V2 coming out on top.
Storm Point always bringing a lot of changes to not only the play styles, but the landing zones, as you just mentioned there. We used to see Nightmare Esports in a fight, and now we saw V2 and Scars going out.
Yeah, I'm still not seeing anybody in a fight just quite yet. Looks like all of the players, all the teams that we're watching kind of separate. It does look like Graceful and company for IG are already rotating.
Like to bring the crypto out on Storm
as they're showing
We've seen teams like
now on the main stream
in North America switch up to Bangalore and Bloodhound. We've seen that across all of EMEA as well. I mean, to me, Mark, I think this is the kind of idea that there's so many more aggressive options on Storm Point than there are on World's Edge that you almost have to anticipate that and prepare. Do you want to get caught out? Do you want to have a way to answer that? And how do you want to position yourself to be able to take these?
And a couple different teams already running the armories.
You know, let's give ourselves a chance if we do get caught out, and that's why we're seeing a little bit more of an aggressive competition.
BZN's going to be in a tough spot where they landed. They got a couple teams around them here.
Yeah, of course.
I'm kind of surprised they aren't switching to them there.
About Storm Point is the basic geometry of the map, right? If you're landing on the southern side and you have to go north for the circle, you're fighting uphill the whole way. So that's why you're seeing like Bangalore becoming so much of a comfort pick for a lot of teams who are landing below that midway point, just because you can turn fights that maybe you would have been a 70-30 chance for you to win it, and you're the 30% moving from low to high ground into a kind of a 60-40 because you can use the smokes and you can maybe try and
is IG getting pushed here
without being seen.
Hold on.
So all these little things that start to come into it are very interesting. But I actually love the fact that while we had this map up, we had Invictus Gaming on our screens who hit a Valcolt, tried to maybe hit the armory, but there was a team already in there, so they were like, you know what, you can have it, E6, and we're gonna just rotate to one of these buildings a little bit more north. And traditionally, we see on Storm Point that circle is always going to pull a little bit more towards the coastline, right? For those first.
Let's sit in with IG real quick. They just got EMP'd.
And Ulti, I mean.
Okay, just don't then.
I'm not sure if they'll be able to
Yeah, I know.
Try and land on us and share this. As soon as they land
live in unity here, or if they're going to have to end up trying to.
Does anybody want a 2x?
Yes, I will.
Yes, I would love one.
Taking people out around
or
them.
something for my wingman.
Oh, you don't have a 1x race here?
No, I don't have anything.
Focus.
Thank you. I'll take that.
We do not want to let a team in. We want to control.
So of course, Storm Point does generally tend to give us a little bit slower gameplay, and we're already seeing some pretty slow gameplay as it is. Holy smokes, chap! Look at everybody in Cascades Falls. What in the world? Wow.
I mean, I'm still fencing. I don't have a gen, so it's slow.
Okay.
That's insane.
So what do you want?
Doesn't look like we got anybody.
Do anywhere. Just do it on me, Cam. Here's the safest still on me.
No, because I want to be able to help Jay instantly.
You know, let's see what E6 is doing here.
Nice.
I cut off them.
Don't hit the cannon by accident.
Yeah.
Let's fucking go, boys.
Yes, sir.
So E6 in a good spot.
Come on, we need this fucking point now.
They know that they've got IG just over across the way. That was a team that almost landed on them.
How did they cut the fucking off? And that's a par team now. Wow. They should get shit on the back now.
So here's where they can get that big value from Crypto. Kind of take a quick look around.
They are getting shit on the back.
Honestly, they might.
Yep, I hit the Crypto like 50. They're getting EMP'd.
Yeah, now they're getting circled. They blocked my dawn.
So they don't have to worry about that squad at the moment. I like them showing the patience. There's no real need to push out on them on that, right?
Yeah, I hit 145.
You've got yourself some cover. Let's take a quick look with Vexed out here. Oh my goodness gracious, is this?
I'm surviving. I'm alive.
Hey, I'm getting fucking...
I got house shot by
What is happening?
So Vexed in a tough spot. They've already got one down.
But why didn't you say the building?
Unlucky.
I went back for there. Just whatever.
It's fine, just
explain,
slow,
bro. I'm like
yeah.
explaining myself now.
I'm gonna try and get into the tunnel.
Yeah.
They're getting shot from the back here too. Question is, are they going to be able to make their way up?
I'm out, but I'll shoot for you here. I think they stopped. I don't think they're like hard facing. You can swing somewhere. Yeah,
Use that to get on in. They'll be able to close that door. They do have Unlucky's banner.
Grab all the
That's the good news for them. They're getting shot by Aurora, just for the record.
Yeah, I mean, bro, they've never scanned once.
I watched 18 votes. Not a single time they scanned. That's funny. I think it goes some all the way.
Anybody else fighting here? Looks like as far as here for Fire Beavers, they're getting ready to make a push up here. Let's hang on board with them for a moment.
Я буду давать отмену.
Давай.
Секунду. Он походу вниз ёбнулся, не? Нет, тут он один. Лёва, ты можешь его
They're
добить,
sitting
он
over
один
here
там,
at
он один
checkpoint.
там. Он сейчас вниз будет падать.
I don't know how many squads they have by them though.
Ты можешь заехать, у тебя никого там нет, Лёва.
You know, you got at least one on that roof across the way. I don't know if there's anyone on that neighboring roof, but they're not in the zone yet. They need to push up into this.
Это не наша ульта, да?
This is a really tough position for them here.
Смотри спину, Свет.
And you can see they're spread out too, trying to find some space here. They have another one on the left here from Impulse. I think they just, you know, like push up on this team. It's like clearly in that building on the left.
Все норм. Я подхожу. Я сейчас крышу займу и попробую entry damage вам дать.
Крыша 40.
Сильно не упарывайся.
Криптотрон по тобой.
Закрывайте пока зону, закрывайте зону, пусть нахуй идут.
Wonder if they're doing a listen in. We just heard them join.
Это GV.
Я под нами смотрю.
Под нами у тебя вот оттуда дрон был.
Да, вижу их.
Не пускай.
No one else here currently in the fight, so we'll stick. Yeah, we'll stay on board here with Fire Beavers. Remember, they are one of the squads. Now they have themselves a decent game. If they can kind of coast here, right? Like, I don't want to say that they like can die early or anything like that, but they don't have to like push the pressure if they're worried about qualifying for LAN. They have themselves a decent game already. They're in 6th heading into today.
Надо дать энтри хороший.
Падают вниз. Давай, килл. Horizon, именно Horizon шотай.
I think they heard that team dropping to the left. They're going to try and figure out where they're at.
Они засладили фулл, 60 одному дал. Я упал вниз.
Все, забираем ХГ, все, держим ХГ, да, похуй на них вообще.
They can use this low ground to rotate. Did they just see
Смотрите, спейс не отдайте, нам надо забрать сейчас всю серую и контролить ее.
Смотри, Лёва, у тебя могут...
So they're in zone where they're at here. It's a pretty good job for them here to be able to take that spot.
На пауках есть фраеры, потом их убьем.
Да. В спину нам никто не должен по логике. Это только маршруты не меняет свои.
Let's go with Alliance here, get some shots here.
I thirsted. Nice. He's running. Running.
I'm watching our southeast at the moment, boys. You guys watching front?
Yeah. Good.
I haven't seen them cross. They should be sitting behind this or something.
Yeah. True. I did 68 blue on one of them.
Around 3 or what?
Yeah, one of my fingers, 68 blue. They're running forward now, I think.
50 blue.
Big shot. I need those last couple bullets to connect here.
No, actually, I don't have ulti. I don't know ulti. Go too aggressive. Right them again. 50 flash.
Man.
They're fighting down there.
I think you push up on that. Like, I know you're showing some patience right now and some... Oh, man. Like, you're like... Because if you can go down and pick those up, you're still technically in zone, but you are obviously exposing yourself to a lot of people down there, too.
I'm gonna use it.
Like, they're still good where they're at. They should be free behind them, like, towards wall. Like, they shouldn't have to worry about anybody rotating over from that side. So they know that pretty well. The other 15 teams in the lobby are, like, in front of them, right? In front of them, other side of this, like, mountain from them.
We gotta care command. Vex likes to rotate behind us here. We have to go back up tight, though. You need to deny. You need to go back up high, TG. Go back up high and deny angles. Like, we can't let people wrap us from spiders or command.
Yep.
People come out of spider.
I got 160.
All right, we got element 6 here. There's a fight going on in front of... Yeah. That's VZN out too, man. VZN needs a big day. They need to have a big, like, game 5 or 6, man. Preferably a consistency between the two games, but...
Get the clean. The crypto's running here. It's under the clean. Okay, I'm grabbing these bullets.
Nice shots from range here from K-Swinny. That's going to at least be able to apply a little bit of additional pressure. That pressure should be falling back probably for healing. They get plenty of time to be able to go through their loot boxes here before they rotate in, because they're still in the zone too, if I'm not mistaken, where they're at. So
it's coming back for the banya. I block it.
That is good fucking shit.
Nice.
I'm chilling on loot.
Yeah, you left your fucking red, bro. We need fences.
Yeah, I'm fencing.
Nightmare here. Has had a relatively quiet day. Nightmare is one of those teams that came in. They were in 13th. I mean, if they were to have a good game, if they have a solid storm point, really solid, actually. Solid would be an understatement. They need a strong storm point here. Maybe potentially sneak into one of those spots, depending on how some of the other teams in the lobby are doing. That's the benefit of having VZN and V2 not performing right now. But you can see they're still sitting on no KP.
Pikuję 40. Czemu ja się nie wyhealowałem? Chodź do mnie, co? Chodź do mnie. Idę.
So they got the team. They can hear those steps up above them. They're not in a good spot here. Yeah, team's gonna come right up to those stairs now. Yeah, I think they're kind of SOL here, chap. Good news is there's a couple teams falling, but I don't think enough that they're gonna be able to get like a bunch of like placement points off there or nothing. They're already in the top 15, so they'll get their one placement point. Looks like they may be going to try and get some height here and then maybe try and Valkalt potentially, but they still need to worry about this team that's got height up above them across the way.
Go, 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 go.
So what, they're gonna probably go left here?
Leć leć.
They'll just have to oob and left.
Go do mnie za skałę, go to skałę.
There's a fight going on here in front of them. Actually, this kind of might work in their... Oh. Well, never mind. I was going to say potentially work in their favor, but doesn't look like that's going to be the case. I think this is going to be them going out. Meanwhile, though, let's go hang on board with Aurora. They're actually rotating in on the other side over here. Trying to use this piece of the hunt. They know that they got two up top in this building. Got a couple of shots with the car, but nothing big. I like the catalyst value, though, to be able to enforce the doors here. Oh, this is them watching someone rotating in. So this is Invictus that's up above them here.
Check his zone. We're still in. They're in too.
Spam fences right now?
I am.
Are they fine? No. I'm closing this door, Grace, alright?
Do it.
I mean, listen, boys. How are they going to push us here if not for the stairs? Like,
the only...
team on our west, no, Jay?
Yeah, I was going to say the stairs is the only way they're moving in.
Yeah, they're in the building? Yeah, they're at the building.
I want to...
Dude, can we loot this box? We can loot this box from the window! Let's go!
Guys, right?
Oh, damn. Look at that looting up from that box, too.
Play around with a team if they break the store.
I honestly don't know, dude.
Yeah, that's Aurora that's under them that we were just watching with the catalyst.
Might push up to my door.
I'm holding with you, Grace. You have that.
They're
I'm
burning
holding
it.
with Jay.
Careful. They're digis.
It's fine, just play together. Yeah, just play on you, play on you.
I'm gonna play Grace in case they swing.
Headshot one. He's trying to
I'm
smoke.
holding the door.
Nah, he's not. We're good.
No, they won't send us if there's a full team below us. That's fucking troll. There's no way.
They are troll. Don't say no way. We never know.
Easy.
Yeah, you never know.
What's the likely chance of playing out the back?
No, you cannot.
I want a drone, bro, but I can't really drone anywhere.
I have a digi. Come push me in this smoke. I have a fucking digi, bitch. No, I have to put another one.
I think you put Jen on me.
Yeah, there's one full...
They're peeking, 50!
Yeah, just scream at me if they're pushing. We're gonna get insta-thirded if they...
Just come out your drone,
Yeah, don't be on your drone cam.
Yeah, but I'm trying to find out if that's a...
I know, but if they send you dead, they have digis and smoked us.
Oh, yeah, shit, I didn't know. I'm holding here, boys. Look, I'm gonna swing on them if they fucking peek, okay?
Yes, they have wall life, though.
Oh, they know.
It's bad nades.
Outside. Good on me for a second, good on me.
So they're trying to push up with the Bloodhound, but...
No, crack! 50! Crack!
Just triple swing in a minute.
I'm batting!
80 I need to pop up at.
Yeah,
look for me.
Shot my fucking side. I'm holding. I'm staring at them. I'm just staring. Good fences, Grace.
Yeah. They're smoking again. I'm peeking.
Yeah. I'm hiding in the corner again. I'm ripping a cell. Bro, I think we might have to fucking send this. What? Wait, that's too far.
I mean, they're in zone. They can chill up on the top stairs here if they really want to.
Yeah, I'm down. You can drop the back door and peek in. No, they have catalyst. Don't. They reinforced it, I think.
Yeah,
yes. If you want to do it, we send inside.
Yeah. Yo, I think we look for it now. I think we just look for it. Let's try and take initiative here.
Yeah, I'm trying.
Are you ready?
No.
Nah, I got ruined.
It's fine. I EMP'd the back. It's fine.
That'll at least keep... So the EMP keeps them away. They're looking to try and buy some space there with the EMP, but instead it holds them off. But now they're going to be pushing up the stairs. They have to be really careful here. JMW has no health. Graceful at least has got a whole bunch of everything so far.
I'm just holding.
I don't think they need to push this fight underneath.
50 on one.
I'm out of cells now.
If anything, there's going to be a team that tries to buy space up underneath with that team and forces them up those stairs.
Yes. We just need to hold.
Yeah, they just need to chill here.
No.
I have one cell.
Hey, bro, take it. You want a bad baby here? Take it back.
Wait, you have all that?
I got a lot.
You've been holding off on me, bro. You've been holding out, big dog.
I really want a fucking drone, man. I feel like the people are moving around back.
Maybe on me.
I'm gonna do it on me. Just hold the stairs.
Dude, they have a fucking bow. He just shot me with a bow?
There's still a full team here, bro.
I know. I'm 94, by the way. I can't place my gen. Like, if I have to place it on you, but they can see it from the stairs.
See, Fire Beavers was the one that was underneath them. They're now on that.
Bow idiot broke it.
Is he gonna break it?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, place it on me then. That's fine.
But if I place it on you, they peek the stairs and they break it.
Oh no, that's right. That was Aurora that was under them.
We have to just double stare.
Yeah, we just have to.
Middle of the room then.
Like,
So we have quite a few out. It's gonna be tough for E6 to rotate in here. Not sure if they're planning on doing like a Valcold or what. I really think if I'm IG, I think if I'm Invictus here, I think I just chill, honestly.
No, but yeah, I mean.
Just focus. The team on
Yeah.
Fence is here.
Be ready for them to just send us like fucking idiots. Is Cyril? I'm crouching.
Sorry, Chad. I just realized we were on this screen without actually looking at anything.
We want them to fight below. If they fight below, we win.
No, they're probably gonna play our route.
I kind of want to go sit in on Fire Beavers real quick, but I have a feeling the minute that... Fuck it, we're doing it.
Yellow. Дайте cover, я хилюсь.
Я нокнула.
Good call, Q.
Я сейчас умру.
Great call, Q.
На мне сейф.
У меня сейф.
Oh yeah, sure.
Все, будьте, слышите, можно как-то нейды дать. Не делайте ничего сейчас.
I'm looking down, they
Вот
down
тут чел,
one.
Лёва, слышишь? Пикни сюда, вот сюда, пикни прямо сейчас, Лёва, со мной пикни. Нет, нельзя.
I'm staying stairs, though. I'm staying stairs.
Окей.
Могут все вместе.
Yeah, just come inside. Clear this window. Look at the zone, we fucking win.
Да, но у нас сейф, гуч.
На ult charge. Ну, в смысле каску.
Давай. Найс, бери.
Бля, он...
Ладно, слышите?
Я хочу вниз упасть, попробовать подсесть.
You wanna fuck?
I'm gonna fuck.
Не фокусись на эти колы, Лёва, не фокусись, я зафокусюсь. Ты фокусись на вот этом вот. Все, Гуччи.
Короче, мы просто сидим, пацаны.
Они резают, вот тут резает Хуйлопан.
И
один вот туда,
So I put them above the pair, right?
У меня тут дерутся.
Можно мне тоже
So Game Warden just got wiped out by, I guess that would have been E6 probably?
Очень сильно.
Я лайтов тебя сейчас дропну, я лутаю.
Yeah, so E6 is still alive. They'll get a refresh over there potentially. Let's go sit in with them real quick.
Roof right now. We can play side too now. We're fine.
Yeah, we're good.
We need to figure
They'll get a free refresh because everyone's in that other building. The only problem though is that means once they leave, everyone is going to be looking at them here. You know what I mean? Let's go take a quick look board here with Graceful.
I'm just sitting on balcony door and I'm staring at fucking stairs. Okay.
Yeah.
Be ready to read the kill feed, all right? It's Sea Above Horizon versus Catalyst Blood Bang. Okay. Sea Above Horizon versus Catalyst Blood Bang. And then one team out on the west in the field, or east, sorry, east.
Yeah. That's big calls there.
The team on the east is Crypto, I think. Crypto.
The team on the east should die.
Yeah, we should look at them. We should work together with the team inside. Inside the building.
Just doing enough to make sure no one can come up that door behind them.
I'm just fencing, like.
I'm moving an armor swap here.
Yeah, I think IG's got the spot here, honestly. Let's take a quick look on board with Fire Beavers. They're up on the roof. They'll be looking across the way over here at Element 6. They might be able to get a couple KP here. That'll be big for them, but actually, you know what though? Fire Beavers might have the advantage. Like that ass. That EMP is gonna hurt a little bit. They could have not pushed from the roof yet. That's tough though because now they're in a loop. Whoa, big shots there. Now to the last fight. Is it going to be IG winning a third? IG wins a third game. IG has won 3 out of 5 games. Holy smokes.
Performance IG International telling the entire international community of Apex, we are here.
See, I started to guess myself there, but I told y'all IG had that spot. All they needed to do was sit there and chill. I told y'all, chat.
At the moment, I don't know how they're doing it. We need to go back and watch it, but their discipline in those final moments, picking just the right time to make their plays, has been almost, perfection so far. 3 out of 4 games, they've picked up the wins, and it's all been from that hard circle, hard zone decision-making that they make right at the start of the game. I was so impressed, and I thought for a second Aurora had made a play to put themselves in the best position to win it, but the Dark Veil didn't quite cut off that line of sight that they wanted to from the balcony, and Fire Beavers above from them. If that goes a little bit differently, if it's a couple of inches a little bit further one way than the other, maybe that could have been the difference.
I mean, certainly a Dark Veil opportunity, and the piercing spikes, it felt like Aurora made the most effort to do something. But
we still have 10 days.
You've been talking about IG. I mean, keep talking about them. They're making us talk about them. Another win yet again, and great in-game management that truly is on a different level.
Yeah, no, I think I mentioned just before this game, I said, well, one of their weaknesses is not finding victories on Storm Point, and I almost wished it into existence, it would seem, because they went from...
Oh, wait, that was game 4.
They're so consistent across World's Edge and having so many victories, but maybe falling off a little bit to Storm Point, to now looking like a team who can threaten no matter what map they're on. They've shown glimpses of it throughout the season. They've been getting seconds, they've been getting thirds, but just haven't been able to get over that
game
final
4
hurdle with maybe some little mistakes here or there in the final circle, but now they look locked in. Their decisions are perfect. The EMP to push them outside of buildings every single time.
That is insane, bro.
Off guard. No one is prepared for it. And how could you prepare for it? You're always going to lose so much of your shields because of it, and you're so weak to that push that comes out.
Yeah, I think just to pick off the back of it, this is E6 trying to force their way into zone, and they managed to win a big fight here to get them into the top 4 position. They got the reset off the back of it as well, due to the building just denying the line of sight from the other teams across from them. But let's keep in mind as well, it's not just the lines of sight that are being denied. Nobody wanted to make the first move when it came to leaving that building opposite to where E6 find themselves now. But Fire Beavers up on the high ground. You thought maybe they were the team to win it. Maybe they were going to have the high ground, but E6 were also giving them some problems with some damage coming in. So it was such a tense endgame. And Aurora as well. I think the Dark Veil down was that one of the moments there towards the endgame where you were a little bit worried, like, surely if that Dark Veil goes a little bit better, if they cut off the line of sight to that balcony, maybe this could be Aurora's game.
Yeah, we've been talking about it all day long.
Yeah, I've been enjoying seeing Aurora getting used, right? But
see that moment it works for one of these squads, and
that was just an unfortunate situation where you go to throw it, like they're up above you, they're going to see you, you know?
Maybe that they expected. Sometimes when you're playing with new legends, you don't necessarily know the intricacies. You're not.
If anything, maybe if you could have tucked up under the building, like
it left enough of a gap.
Oh,
that
you can't see my mouse.
Destroyed from above. They lost
like underneath the balcony.
Really ruined
to the left and then dark veiled out from there, maybe.
There and take a victory, and I think that right there probably handed things to IG a little bit, because that would have been one of their biggest worries. But just look at that. That's so unfortunate.
Yeah, I mean, it's so difficult for Aurora.
Yeah, I think if you would have been able to rotate out and like kind of where from Clevie is now, and then send it out there,
swing that you need to make.
You can at least cut off line of sight and look up, right? And you're only looking at one team, whereas the way they were looking, they would have had to have looked at two teams, which is just kind of a death sentence regardless.
Would have been maybe still exposing them ever so slightly. Due to the height of the Dark Veil not quite matching it, it might have been an opportunity to do so, but IG slide out at just the right time. They avoid the Rolling Thunder, and they take home the Thunder themselves. 3 out of 4 games.
That's crazy, man.
Means that Invictus International off the back of that one should be top by quite some margin, but 17 points overall. With
Invictus can put their controllers down if they really want to.
And they were able to use the Dark Veil as well, right at the end there. Just before the Catalyst actually went down, they were able to use it for so much coverage to get out of that building after the EMP. It was a blessing in disguise. To allow them to disguise themselves in the final circle. But as you say, they will come out on top with the placement, but they were actually outscored by Fire Beavers because they had more kills. This is something we know.
While they're showing this,
sometimes they get a really good placement.
So take a look at this real quick.
And they can find victory. Don't have loads of kills. It's not always been the story today. That's quite a low kill game, and I don't think it will be too much of a deterrence for them.
V2 still struggling, man. Out 18th that last round. They got the team wipe, but then they were out pretty quickly after that. BZN.
Shout out to E6 as well. 10 kill points for them, as well as the 5 placement points. They had a really good spot inside of that armory for quite some time and managed to convert it into those 15 points overall. But
looking for Org forever.
More of a quiet start to the Storm Point, excuse me, for Vexed.
If they can pop off with a good game here in games 5 or 6, they could easily move up to like 3rd, which I'm pretty sure would give them enough points to move into that qualifier point.
They had such an amazing ending to that final.
We'll have to wait and see.
It was a slow one. It's a frustrating one for them, but it does happen sometimes. You are always going to have those up and downs in Apex Legends. Corpa, though, 7 kills on the board. Corpa still trying to put themselves within a chance of those regional spots.
Yeah, they might do indeed if they can hold it together.
Can they?
Put some games together. Maybe they will be involved in those regional finals, like you say. Currently sat in 11th place, 17 points overall in this lobby, but it is IG who solidify themselves at the top of the table.
I don't think Corpa can.
Still chasing them down, though. Still good KP coming in from Alliance as well. Decent placement alongside it will keep the pressure on. So as we head into the next 2 games, it certainly isn't all said and done. The one thing that's been a little bit surprising for me was actually Aurora getting in towards that endgame down and only having 1 kill, I think it was, at the end of the day. That's kind of like a complete contrast to what we usually see them have in that position. More likely it's 8 placement points and 11 kills or something, like something ridiculous like that. But I don't know.
Right?
Aurora seems to be changing the way that they play. Maybe it's the lobby.
Corp was 26, 25th.
Or maybe it's just because you've got regional finals and then potential LAN around the corner, and you're starting to notice, okay, if we have a consistent amount of points, if we can hit this kind of average, we're probably going to be guaranteed LAN. So let's just play it safe. Let's not take too many risks. I think a lot of teams are playing that way, where they're playing a little bit less risky. And
I mean, it makes sense for some of these teams there in the top part, right?
A little bit easier because they're not taking those fights in the mid to early game. But that does mean it opens things up for some of those teams who are really trying to push themselves into the higher ends of the leaderboard as well. And that's why we've seen a couple of surprises in that top 5.
Well, Invictus Gaming, certainly the story of today with yet another win. The first map of Storm Point goes
3 out of 4 games they've won, Chad. That's pretty insane.
Keep this form up as we head into match number 5. We'll find out just after this.
Insane, chat. Well, that means we got us a little break here. Looks like some of these teams are already starting to load back in, though, pretty quickly, so looks like we'll be in game number 5 sooner than later. Invictus has 3 out of 4 wins. That's just insane to me. So, game 5 and 6 going to be pretty big for a few teams here. I think most importantly is going to be looking LFO forever. And Game Ward as well, because Game Ward's sitting in 12th. Or 11th, sorry. And because of the fact that Forge doesn't play today, VZN and V2 are both below them. So they kind of need to rely on them to continue to have like a lackluster day, you know? But then as long as they continue to show out, both of those two teams could potentially take that 8th and 9th slot before regional. So should be interesting to see. Obviously, you know, there could still be some movement at the bottom of the scoreboard at regionals, because those points do still count, right? But you would definitely rather be inside that top 9 than outside of that top 9 heading into regionals on Sunday. So big last couple of games for a few of our teams here. Going to be really intrigued to see kind of how they play things out. I don't know, chat. What do you guys think? I feel like our top 7 are pretty well locked in with Ascend, Aurora, Vex, Pioneers, Alliance, Fire Beavers, and Invictus. But I think 8 and 9 are wide open right now. I think most likely it's going to go to Game Ward and LFO forever. But it's still a little early to tell. Let's go ahead and is it looking like that, Dad?
You can keep going. But
switch on
yeah,
over here.
Like they're going to be on their own. They're going to be okay. Which is good news
Doesn't
for
look
Scars,
like
who are
what's up,
obviously
bub?
in such a difficult position in the leaderboard
You're
at
still
the moment.
hungry.
They need some huge games
What do you
here
want?
to put themselves a little bit higher up to start thinking about regionals. But as we look at the circle, as we had a brief look at it, and we kind of continue to look at it, it's moving to the kind of northwestern side, maybe just far west. We might see some teams commit to kind of mill area. Also, checkpoint could be an area where people start to barter towards as well. VZN have an amazing position. They're going to have first beacon mark, so they're going to get all that info. We can probably watch one of their rotations. You could say the same for a few other teams like IG as well.
Dan, I'm sorry that I lied to everybody. V2 are still fighting Scars here. It didn't show up on my map overhead. Maybe they were that close together out the dropship. I didn't see it, but V2 versus Scars continues here, and it's going to be Taishin who gets a knock. V2 this time look like they might not win this one, as Scars will come out on top. V2 sit down. It's 1-1.
V2 were invisible.
Yeah. IG absolutely
they were
destroying.
Right underneath Scars to a point that we couldn't even see them. That's unreal. But
So I think that just might seal the deal for V2.
That's exactly what
I don't
we
even
need
know
to
if they
hear.
win the next game, if they'll be able to
Extra shots being fired into the death box. I think Scars were pretty wound up by that.
get
that
enough
first
points.
instigation, but that one
That's
looked quite
tough,
clean for
man.
them, Dan.
They've been contesting with Scars a lot, I think, too.
Swinging into the air. Genuine frustration. Understandable as well.
Important fight to win, though, not just for
All right,
the
looks
obvious
like as far
reasons,
as
but
our
Fishbones has a beacon that now Scars
views,
can
no
work
one's
with. Close by Vex have also got the beacon.
fighting
so both
just
teams-
quite yet. However, we might be seeing.
Top is not playable, by the way, okay?
Let's jump in real quick with E6 here.
Set up inside.
Yo, I know. Yo, Invictus is looking really nice right now. They've kind of been like a
They push on taking
quietly decent team throughout the season. Otherwise, I mean, they're sitting in 7th heading into today, right? But
Okay.
today, like, Jesus, shit, they just been like, they've gotten a couple of good zones, but also they've just been playing really, really
Can you go
smart.
for that heavy mag for me, please, Enfi? Without getting knocked. It's a bats too. It's a 2x2 I need.
He's just sending people out. Yo, I'm gonna need this. I'm gonna need that. Thank you. Thank you.
I think VZN just gonna play from what's the call?
The
You're gonna
2x,
play
yeah?
for mail. Yeah, I need a 2x2, yeah.
Yeah, I got it for you. The light mag's on top. I'm grabbing it now.
Okay.
I'm in the heavy mag. Sorry, got it.
Alright, listen to me. The plan of the game is like holding that
I
fucking
do-
building. We know we
I do
have
kinda wanna
fire
listen to this
beaver
real
gonna
quick.
push us on the back, okay? They're probably gonna kill everyone on that side. They're killing your team armory right now. The team playing top here.
Я утянул. Уходим?
Speaking of Fire Beavers, let's go sit in with them real quick. He said they're in a fight out here, which they called right. They're actually going to go ahead and rotate back towards Cenote. I don't think there is anyone over here at Cenote currently, so they'll kind of have some free range as far as what they want to do. I would guess they're just going to rotate to the opposite side, more head up straight towards the mill, but it's kind of hard to tell. Doesn't look like we have anybody else currently fighting. Nightmare Esports would literally need 2 like huge games here now if they're going to move themselves into that 8th or 9th spot. They're sitting 20th on the session so far. They've had a lot of early outs. They're actually out 20th every single game on World's Edge. So the last game was 12th, so... Yeah, the mill zones kind of get hectic when it closes in over there. I do like kind of seeing as it starts to close, and I'm being intrigued to kind of see who's there early, who's already bought space. We got a couple people hitting armories, nothing too crazy. Yo, Flogi, you know the zones you've been out here data mining or what? Well.
Ale nie ma na razie nikogo pleców. Kurwa, strzela tu. Nie, schowa się, Limek odbija snajpa. I u mnie też, tak w miarę.
Yeah, we don't have anybody else fighting just yet, quite yet. I mean, makes sense. It's game 5. I wouldn't be surprised if we see Ring 3 and there's still like 18 teams, 17 teams.
Jak będziemy mieć prale, to zacznę farmić.
Let's go ahead and
fingers a little bit.
Chill back in on the main broadcast for a minute while we don't have anybody fighting.
I can see the Fire Beavers on the outside of zone, Aurora on the outside.
See what they see.
As well. Scars and Corpa, Alliance, Vex just making their way in. So a lot of teams playing this zone a little bit more slowly. There's not as much play.
It's called game knowledge, baby.
True. In mind for these teams who are playing edge. And so we see some nice shots coming in from Graceful as well, and that's going to be Sanya, who not only gets taken down but gets finished off by the Mong Boy.
Finished off, and it should be now a situation where IG could push up on it if they want to, but it looks like they're aware of another team in the vicinity, and they don't want to leave themselves too exposed.
Nightmare is still sitting over at Down Beast.
Is you need to have a backup plan, and you need to have sometimes you're back to
no, not Down Beast. Where are they at?
That is going to give you a little bit of cover. Otherwise, if you get too caught out, there are going to be other teams around that can just pick you off, and you'll lose one player, and then suddenly your chances of winning the game have very much been vanquished quite quickly. But we are going to get information on this next zone as it closes. Of course, those with Beacon would already know
so
this.
So V2's already out. VZN still
to it, and we'll learn as other teams have. And yeah, there's the prediction that we were talking
still
about.
In, but
it is going to move a little bit further southwest. And look at how many teams are already set up for it.
I'll tell you what, Graceful is doing some damage at the moment. He's swapping shields. He's doing damage to get them all up to purple. And you've got someone as skillful as Graceful.
As I say, now you just have to worry about his own Evo. Everyone else is purple.
As a player as well. You mentioned previously, right? Long-time IGL, long-time Wraith player. Almost strange to see him just not playing Wraith. He was almost as synonymous with Wraith, stuck with it for the longest possible time. And now transitioning on to
he just waited for
and doing a hell of a job for Invictus as well. You mentioned how you know, co-IGLing alongside Noises, but there's a clear IGL on this team still, isn't there? You know, Noises is the IGL, and I think you sometimes when you're looking to pick up a play, you look at the character,
you see a lot of longbow
and Graceful is the
charge rifle,
but never be pushy with it. He's always going to back the call made by his IGL. He respects
building
the
up those shields,
making abilities of his IGL and Noises.
Yeah, I think that's very important. That
still nobody fighting over on our main
IGL, that they are going to be a little bit submissive in a way and allow the IGL to really truly make that call, because if there's too much deliberation, if there's too much talk
while we're
about
doing
it,
it though,
you
while
might
this
miss
is running,
that
let's take a
moment.
quick look at
Right, you
everybody
might
real
miss that
quick. Looks
moment
like
of making
Alliance
that
is
call and
rocking the
making
triple
that push.
purples. They're
It
got
has to be
themselves a little bit of a
sometimes
rotate
split-second
here.
decisions that you need to trust
E6 rocking
your
all
IGL.
blues.
So as long as that is apparent, and I think we know it's apparent with how they've been playing, then that's why we're seeing so much success from IG right now. But having the level
IG
head
got
as
that
the
purple,
co-IGL
blue we saw
is so
earlier.
important for a roster. As now Vex, they're going to be moving.
Vex
down
rocking
through
all
the
purples
south
right
side
now.
of the map. They don't really have anyone to contest them on their way, but when they do get to the circle, Aurora are there and
Fire
waiting
Beaver's
just
rocking the
outside
purple,
perimeter. So
gold
they are
right
gonna have to
now.
be careful.
Aurora's
This is
got the
not gonna be
purples
an
all the
easy
way
move
across.
whatsoever.
And just keeping our eyes on the map overhead as well. I think Na'Vi took a little bit of damage. You can see one of their players is Skyward diving out to maybe get some banners and maybe get some reses off. But
Yeah, one of the
thing,
thing, Bulba, is especially with especially like ALGS plays, since like the first
game here for
like 10, 12 minutes, there's not much fighting going on, so they kind of have to find other things to talk about. So usually kind of talking about some of the players, especially that are leading their teams, is kind of like an easy talking point.
Available here for Scars as well, so let's take advantage of that. Let's jump into a listening now with Scars.
Go. Can it?
I scanned already.
You did, yeah, you did before. I don't think so. I think it was his teammate.
And I do think when you look across, like around like the different regions and stuff in ALGS, like the IGL position, it can be a very critical position because it's not just about the information that you have and how you display it, but how cool and calm and collect can you stay under pressure. If your teammates start to lose their cool, can you keep your cool?
It's fine, fine. But we just rot on T. Sad, man. Chill, man.
Jump in real quick with Aurora here as they're looking to move in.
Yeah, this building is free, bro. It is?
We talked earlier, Aurora's got the purples all the way around. They're rocking that Bang Bloodhound combo.
We just need to wait our back.
I like it that they're bringing in the Catalyst with it too, which is interesting. Liking to see more Catalysts getting brought into play. Don't look like we got anybody else. No, actually we got
back into the
Vex
game.
in a fight here real quick.
Do not take that fight that we thought they might. They decided to get out.
I'm pretty sure they're back. We just need to kind of play slow until the fucking other team just walks.
Yeah, there are a few teams that like do like the co-IGLing. But I would say in Apex right now, when you look at it, usually if you just have one guy that's, it's like the whole concept of like less is more, right? Because when you have too many, like it's one thing if they're feeding information to the IGL, but if you have too many people trying to make the calls, then you start having, you know, hesitation on pushes and.
One's in water. I think he's just running underneath our thing, you know,
like when they say IGLs, it's not necessarily. Yeah, like when we're like IGL isn't necessarily the only one talking, right? It's just that's the one that leads the decision making.
I have Q in 5 seconds, just wait. Yeah. I mean, just have to get to their headshot. I will see. Okay, I have Q now. I'm gonna wait.
Ooh.
Pill up.
Stop overthinking too much. Okay, go at the back and take top ball and everything. But yeah, you should, Andre. You should do that. You should do that now.
See if we have anybody else in a fight here currently.
Yeah, ready to go now.
Doesn't look like they're gonna have to try and make this push here. Oh, dude, that's tough, man. The good news is his zone doesn't hit for much, so like they should be able to get back in him, but they're gonna get pushed, right? So like you don't really get a chance for a refresh. Scars is gonna go out in the kill feed here.
Almost cracked one.
One's coming.
I'm netting bottom. I'm gonna.
They're getting free Pete, I think. Wait, Taffy's go back.
Yeah.
Watch out, you're not sending it.
I'm queuing the door. Queue the door. But we only have 30 seconds, boys. They traded. I think they traded. They have. Swing it out.
Like even when you listen to some of the best ones, like, you know, like Sweet, Hal, like they're constantly getting fed info.
No.
If anything, you're not looking for info as the IGL because you're the one that has to dissect the situation and then come up with a decision.
Might be under, so watch out.
Hopping about. It's only one.
He's wine.
Hopping about.
Got him.
One's coming on your stuff. One's coming on your stuff.
Nice shots there from Tyler. Unlucky, I think he's going to end up getting cleared here. That's another team coming in.
I'm popping a med kit.
Gold dress, no?
Can I rest here? Yeah. But you need to walk in.
On top bridge.
I'm going to say, yeah, that's a Bloodhound ult that we had heard.
Pushing on him. He's two down. Crack both.
Nice shots there by Tyler. Oh, couldn't finish it off with the EVA 8, but the Storm's going to be able to help him out, but there's not going to be enough time to revive Tyler, which means they're going to have to play the rest of that thing out as a solo. Unfortunate, man. Let's go jump on over at Mill here. Fire Beaver's already being here. As you can see, they've pretty well got control of this more southern-ish building on the Mill. They've got inside, though. They don't have... I don't know if they've got anybody on their roof or what. From our views, we don't have anybody on roof yet over this way.
Тут еще один свап. Слышите? Два свапа.
Да, я первый не чекаю, они с первого могут тыкнуть.
Я чекаю левый первый.
Oh, and it looks like Graceful's about to go out for IG, as is Tyler as well. So two more teams out.
Пытаются. Слева мне дверь сожгли. Я по мейну стою.
Один на ХГ вроде.
Пацаны, готовьтесь их принимать. Зафокуситесь на том, что нам их принимать.
That does mean there are teams still left, like Nightmare. LFO Forever, who could use some good placements here in game number 5.
Поджимаем их, а потом ебем. Ну, вернее, когда они на нас будут ошибаться. Готовьтесь прям ловить их.
Nobody else fighting, so we're going to stick here. Got the turbocharger on the Havoc here. For Impulse. On that bang.
Это не их импакт. По-моему, нет.
So they would have heard that crypto drone that came in above them.
Ульта будет у тебя?
Двое у меня нет. Да, будет. У него быстрее будет. Двое с моей стороны.
Дал ему сотку.
Ooh, okay, Impulse.
Дал сотку.
Может подпихнуть?
It's a big opening.
Погоди.
Ватсон 50 снова.
Пусть кнопки
Я
дают.
бэкнул.
Not going to be able to enter in this other door over here across the way.
Отойди.
Живите.
Да, живу.
Они пиздец кнопок много отдали.
Они все отдали. У меня... Скажите, как подпушивать будет, я буду ульту отдавать.
Лево. БХ ультанула.
Yeah, so nobody else currently really in a big fight. We're just sticking on board here still with Fire Beaver.
Это фуловый синий валяется тут?
Да, тут два фуловых.
Готовьтесь меня хелповать, если что.
Я ульту отдам, скажи, как пушить будет.
They're in a good spot because you can see where this fourth ring's closing in. They've got cover. There's not very many spots in cover. They know that this team on the other side of Mill is going to have to rotate out of where they're at once this thing starts closing. Unfortunately, when it closes, it will cut off the back door as well, which is going to be good news for them.
Пусть забирают, потом ультанем, убьем их. Их еще прижарить будут, там нету сейва на крыше.
EKO esports out.
Собираются, по-моему, с моей.
Они ултать вышли.
Пока у меня тут прыгается.
На крышу.
Могут упасть в сторону в любом месте.
С моей стороны могу упасть.
So Fire Beavers now has that info. They know that they've got somebody on their roof, as you can see there.
Могут упасть. Блять, меня подловили, смотрите.
Смотрю.
Там файты начались вроде, не? Чуть что ультуй, Кирюх.
Ага.
Да, там файты началось. Так, что-то.
Их сейчас будут ебать.
Let's go somewhere else here real quick. Let's go hang on board with Element 6 here. They're outside of Mill. They're going to be looking to roll. Oh, but they have zone. Both of those teams that are inside Mill are going to need to rotate out.
Listen to him.
Okay, listening.
One behind here.
Yeah, we need the gen, baby.
Yeah, the gen's down here. I've got no ultics.
Okay. Unfair, you're on this side, okay? No, we cannot loot down in zone.
Okay, I don't
Unfair, you're... Wait. I need to drone for him, bro. You need to fucking watch that side alone, Slayers.
Okay, I'm watching it.
All right, let's jump on board here real quick with Alliance. They're in a fight. We're now top 7. Alliance is across the way there from what we were just looking at with Case Swinney.
I need to come to you guys and... No, I can't. You guys need to get in when we walk in the open area.
I think that's Nightmare, right? Still up on the one spot? No, that's Alliance at this point.
I need to wall to one of you, so just...
Nightmare is out.
Team on the left is hard holding us.
Yeah, that's fine.
No, that is Nightmare. Nightmare is still up there.
Force it into Valk ulti, and then we fucking walk in, okay?
Yeah, we need to.
As soon as high team's gone, we have all the space.
We need to take this. We need to take this, boys.
No, there's gonna be fucking. We just wall the left side, no?
No, this is super safe, I think. Oh, my ping, yes.
We'll play these. We'll play the bench.
You need to save your wall hackers. Just move with your Q.
Okay. But, I mean, I need these fuckers to wall call do this.
I mean, they could probably supply some cover fires to at least allow him to rotate over to that other rock to his left.
I think that's our base. I think that's our base for sure.
What heavy do you have?
Right side. I have 120, 130, 130.
Red Evo there for Hackers. That's going to be huge. Yeah, Hackers needs to rotate over and get with his squad that way. If they want to rotate in on a team over there to make space, they got all three. Because there's still 7 teams left. Make that 6 teams left, but it's 6 full squads because you can see 18 players still in, right?
Shoot right side completely.
Some nice shots here.
They're not
We have this. Slide forward, slide forward, slide forward.
Yep.
Slide forward and shoot right. Push right side.
They're going to push forward as much as possible because they know that they got people up there at Mills, so they're trying to hold them out. Oh, that's a lot of people dropping in. They got a team dropping in behind them, too. They got to be careful. But that's both of those squads coming in here from Mill. Oh, I think they might have pushed us a little too far. Yeah, you got someone right there next to him. That's going to be Alliance out here.
How many?
That's extremely tough. That's Fire Beavers. Still up in this mess here as well. Ooh.
Топ-3. Они все на тебя.
Да ёб тут ёбаный соль.
Nice, you're good. Behind here, kill this guy.
And so that should mean here that this should be pretty easy here for Element 6. Closing in here. Oh, maybe not though. There it is, yeah. Gonna be able to pull things off.
On Storm Point, and it's about we're talking about E6. They've been quiet all day, Dan, but when it matters, they put the points on the board.
When they saw that zone shift towards them, they knew they were in one of the better positions, but you still had to play it in a way where you don't take too much damage, that you are still outputting enough damage that you can pick up some kills along the way. I think Alliance did them a big favor because they took a lot of the sightlines away from those players that were coming into the equation, and then in the end, E6 just had to clean it up. But yeah, I think quite rightly, we need to be talking about them Rain Day because they are a team that can definitely make it, not just to regionals, of course, but we can start talking about this team potentially making it to LAN.
That's exactly the point, Dan. I mean, they're fighting for not just a chance to stay involved, which other teams that I kind of want to add that storyline as well. Once we look at some highlights, are fighting to stay in that top 20. Reply Totem.
They probably don't have this updated yet, do they?
They're in a place where they have to.
Nah, they're starting to update
below
it.
them are performing, and they're already sitting in 19th. But I think E6, you're right. I mean, this is where Case Winnie. You know, I remember interviewing.
So Nightmare finished 6th. I don't think they had any KP to their name. It's going to be the unfortunate thing.
His experience. He's been to LAN. He's had different team compositions. You know, they made the choice.
E6 though. They were one of those teams that we were talking about was needing a big day. They had been relatively quiet.
Today they slumped, but then they've come.
They're sitting in 12th
games. To me, E6 is one of those teams that you don't count.
Just walked away at the big game. I don't know how many
because
KP they had, but
they're good.
That's big for them.
When their back is against the wall and they have to perform, they seem to do what it takes to get there, to get to the championship, to get to these places. And ultimately, I think that might be one of the more important.
Chat, I'm gonna go refill my water before we head into game 5.
Being able to do it when the going gets tough and still somehow find a way.
Yeah, I mean, it's an intangible, right? Any team that you put together, if you somehow perform when the pressure is on the most, it's going to set you up for success. And I think E6 is a very interesting story throughout the season because we've seen a couple of different changes. There's obviously someone hasn't been comfortable or something hasn't been comfortable on a couple of occasions. And now after, let's say, a couple of weeks of picking up a new player, you would expect to start seeing some results, especially if you've made that decision yourself. It's been a bit of a slow day until this point for them. They've always been there or thereabouts, but it's just getting into that position to win a game that they've struggled with a little bit. That's the first time that we really saw them get into a commanding position on the map, and from there they were able to convert. But it just seems the inconsistency is a little bit of a factor for E6. They can have these bomb games where they'll win and they'll put 15 kills on the board.
Yeah, but then they have other games where they don't get much off. That's a good point. That's a really good point. That's a fair point to make, actually, too. That's part of the reason why they're sitting where they're at in the leaderboard, like on the season.
In terms of where we're at now, Dan, we mentioned group stages, knockout stages in reference to the World Cup and how things shift. Does winning games become more important than being consistent? The ability to get in that regional final and just have a chance to win become more important than those teams that are third place champions, like Start a Fight, who has yet to win but has been third place now 3 out of 5 times?
I think when we look at the statistic ratio as well from getting wins in a week and how much points you're going to be, it's very important to get those wins, because not only is it going to get you those points in that one game, but it seems to propel teams into confidence into other games to get more points.
Also, we're going to be doing, so we got
even if it's not
NA watch party over here tonight, chat, and then we're going to be doing some Valorant stuff over here this weekend as well.
We're not going to be talking about teams that have been consistently
not tomorrow, because
we're going to be talking about teams that have actually been getting the dub and how often they've been getting that
no,
dub.
I think tomorrow's the
start. If you're a team
of
outside of that top 9, you need to win regional finals if you want to be going to LAN. The good thing for Element 6, they could still make it on points, and they certainly are still within the vicinity to do so. I think the downside for them this week is 6 of the 9 teams that are above them, they're playing this week. So they have to be competitive. They have to make sure they're going up these leaderboards, and that victory is going to do them wonders.
Reply Totem with a very important 5th place there. Element 6 also taking first place, as we just mentioned. LFO Forever have their second really good game. 13 points there. That should help push them up. And Fire Beavers, OJ Rain, 9 Impulse, Taskmaster doing a good job of staying relevant here as Alliance. I think 4th place might be their lowest performance of the day. That's how good, that's how consistent they have been. Rounding out our top 10, of course, is Echo Esports and Game Ward. Not as Vincier, Na'Vi trying to push out of relegation. Game Ward trying to push into LAN. I'm not sure they've done enough, guys, for that to be the state of affairs for them, as well as start a fight. 12 points off a 7th place finish. Right. 9 KP. That is pretty solid as we head over to our back half of things, Dan.
Yeah, I think that when we look at now the teams that are in the bottom half of the table, we start to wonder whether there are going to be squads potentially in the realms of being relegated. Now, we have to look at that. Yeah. Remember, this is the last week before we go into regionals. There are teams here that are fighting to try and get out of relegation. You've got the likes of Echo, who had a big game getting into the top 10. Remember, they were down in like 25th or something ridiculous. So we need to be seeing now going into game number 6, some of these teams who are competing in the lower half really show what they're made of. Otherwise, it could be the end. Corpa, they're down there. They could
so it's gonna be starting tonight. We'll probably watch some of it tonight too, kind of in between
the likelihood of these two teams now
games, or we'll watch maybe in between.
Slim, and that is
we'll figure out how we're gonna do it. We're gonna probably balance between the two.
Like Scars, we know the history of a team like Scars as well. I know there's been a lot of changes. It's a very different roster, but it's still not necessarily what we would have expected.
Let's take a look at the series standings, because you're absolutely right, Dan, Mark. This is the moment. These are the 20 teams right now who in this moment are going to be getting points at all and have a chance to look at this result and say, did we make
VZ and V2 bottom 5, bro. That hurts, man.
But a lot of the teams ahead of them that are performing better are behind them in the standings. Not as sincere. You look at LFO Forever, you look at SAF Esports, you look at Foot Esports, you look at Corpa, you look at
I think LFO Forever and Element 6 are about to push V2 and VZN.
And it's a little scary. Right now, you got one game, and how important that game is, Mark.
Yeah, 100%. This is it for some of these teams. This will be, for some of these teams in the lobby, this might be the last time they'll play in this Pro League split. So that's how much is on the line. If you want to keep going, you want to make regional finals,
tough,
you're outside of that top 20 overall lead.
Like V2 was at 10, right? So they technically needed to make a move, but 9th was Forge with only 1 point more than them.
Don't get more points because they want to stay in that top 20. And it all comes down to this. Something we should highlight as well for one team that actually isn't in this group is Ascend, right? Ascend, this is a great day for them because Aurora, they're down in 9th at the moment. They don't have a huge amount of points. And Alliance, even though they're having a great day, they might be just out of touch. And Vex, who are in
it looks like Ascend will finish at the top of EMEA.
It's very important to keep that overall.
What, they would need to be able to move up to what, 8th?
There's a group of 10 teams who are also sitting there watching this, much like we are, much like you are at home, hoping.
7th. They need to go to 7th, I think.
Teams around them.
I want to also mention this because, Mark, you bring up a
great
I
think
point.
7th they would need to get into to pass them.
You have Alliance, and you have Fire Beavers, you have IG, and you have, obviously, VZ and able to play. E6, Game Ward, all these teams are playing. KCP is not playing today. And the spot that they're holding in terms of LAN qualification, it felt comfy going into this. Yeah. Not if all of these teams continue to keep performing.
No, KCP's fine. That's an exaggeration there.
Day 9 of the ALGS to determine who's going to LAN, who's getting relegated.
I mean, they won't. They might bump down in their spots a little bit, but they'll be.
To make it.
They're going to be fine.
All of that coming up in Game 6 right after the break.
It is kind of crazy to think about, though, that's like where we're at. Pioneers at one point looked very, very comfy in their spot atop at EMEA, and now they're going to be going into LAN probably like 7th. Or not LAN, they'll be going into regionals. Yeah, probably 7th, 6th, 7th, somewhere around there. That's tough. I mean, obviously it doesn't matter. Once you're in regional, you're in, or once you're in LAN, right? But all right, little man is doing all right. We're heading into game 6, baby.
Comps and where some of these zones have gone for Alliance as well. And they had to travel a long way for one of them. And that zone that we just saw finishing over by the mill, that's a long way for them to travel as well. So Alliance looking very, very strong indeed.
What a great story this has been in Split 1 of EMEA. There's still a little bit more before we get to our ending, and we've got 2 great storytellers on the mic to tell it. How will it finish in game number 6? Who's going to land? Who's having a chance? Who's out? Mark?
Scars and V2 right up on top of each other, huh?
Let's get into it. The final game of the day here for the Apex Legends Global Series Pro League in EMEA. For some of these teams, like I mentioned, Dan, this will be the final time, and we don't even get to see Scars get eliminated this time by V2 because they touched the floor for about 3 seconds.
That's big for V2. They needed that.
And unfortunately, that means it will be the final time we see Scars in this split.
V2 will need a big game here, though.
Playing in relegation, that will be the confirmation for them. They have not done enough this week. And that
they're in
is maybe not
13th?
what we would have expected at the start of the season, but they have slowly and
Higher
surely...
than that, lower than that.
They haven't even progressed over
Yeah,
the
V2's
last
in
few weeks.
17th going into this
shame,
game.
But we'll have to see whether they do enough to come back for split number 2. Because, Mark, of course, we might be seeing teams for the last time this split, but we could see seeing teams for the last time for the next 2 splits if they don't survive relegation.
Yeah, it's a very good point indeed. Maybe we'll see some team changes. I'm sure we will, of course. But like you say, unfortunately for Scars and for Scars fans, that is the end of the road for them for this season. We'll have to see what happens for them in that relegation playoffs. But for now, V2 going to be feeling comfy once more. 2 out of 3. That's a win in my book on that drop spot.
I would have liked to see Phoenix Legacy avoid relegation. Hopefully they'll be all right. I like seeing it. I like having at least a female. Hopefully we have a couple more female pros. Like an ALGS.
Towards barometer potentially for this zone, but an interesting one for sure. And I think beacon information is going to be vital for teams if they want to play zone here.
Yeah, well, Nightmare are in barometer. They have beacon information, and this one probably will pull.
Nobody that we're watching currently
north from the
was in a fight.
There's going to be a few other squads that will have that info as well. Fire Beavers down at Cenote Cave. They've got a beacon to work with, so I think they'll be delighted seeing this next circle coming on their screens. Down for those teams who have to travel a little bit further, Alliance, they've got beacon information up towards Lightning Rod. Actually, there's one at Thunderwatch they could use as well, so they've got plenty to work with. My big question would be, because Na'Vi don't have beacon information, will they try and push Alliance so they can gain that information, or will they try and transition elsewhere? But there's a lot to be spoken about these teams and how quickly they're going to rotate.
All right, so in here in game
information.
6...
At the end of the day, in game number 6, when it's crunch time, you've got to win your fight.
So Nightmare just got... I think it was just a single player. Looks like it's going to be another zone more towards mill here, which should be intriguing to kind of see how this thing plays off.
Lećmy kurwa na razie gdzieś na jajo i wyskautujmy coś. Może nawet podejdziemy sobie.
Ja podlazłem już. Co tam patrzę? Dobra, ja cofam.
Nie podchodź.
Chcesz walkulta stąd, tak?
Masz walkulta? No ode mnie.
Zara.
Zaraz coś może być na plecach. Ty mnie w gówno wchodzi. Aj, bo przechodzą tam. Nie strzelaj już walkultować.
Apoja.
Be a blast off here.
Jedź na lewo na razie.
Możemy go spod zawodajesz, to co zajęliśmy wcześniej.
See what else we see as far as... I just realized I never got rid of this when I showed y'all that. My bad, y'all.
And IG also hedging their bets as well. With a quick rotate this time towards a little bit more of a central position than we saw them manage to get to last time. But 5 Evas, I think, will be dangerous in this lobby, like you mentioned previously, Dan. Being able to move in from Cenote Caves, from the southern side of the circle, where there's no one behind them, if they can find some high ground inside this zone, they might be in a great position to pick up KP.
Yeah, there's a lot of KP available for those teams who are moving quickly, that's for sure, because you can kind of hold positions and make it very frustrating for those who are rotating late and are going to have to play on the edge. So if you are one of those edge teams, you're looking now, where are we going to pick up these points? Are there kills that we can pick up? What rotations do we know about? For example, Vexed, they know Corpa have been rotating near them, so they might look to try and take that fight, knowing that potentially it's a weaker side that they can potentially prey on. But I will say Corpa have actually performed a lot better today than they have done in recent weeks. So it's not the easiest fight for Vexed.
A little bit of a transition.
So what do we do later, chat? Because I think we're going to watch some of the...
and they managed to get inside and call it their own. It's very difficult to hold.
Knights Valorant tournament over here today.
Only the one staircase and a few windows to poke through. And if a couple of frag grenades or arc stars, whatever it might be, find their way through those...
for the Valorant freeze out.
On the receiving end of
we got approved to do a watch party.
That's going to have a lot of responsibility there to get that gen down in a good position where it can't be destroyed easily. It's going to soak up any of those nades that do come in. But for Alliance, it's another test of how they travel, right? And they've had to move across a lot of distance so far today with their rotations. They've done it successfully, but are they going to be able to convert it into a win this time, Dan, on what is a very, very tough rotation for them once more?
Yeah, Alliance seem to have had a day of tough rotations, which I guess makes it even more impressive with how they have consistently been scoring points. They've been getting to the late game. They have been picking up kills on their way.
I think we might sit down, though, for the evening.
How they've been picking their fights has been excellent. As we watch Navi's rotation now, that's another team. They need another consistent game. They've been brilliant today. I'll say that for Navi, especially all things considered with what this team is going through. They have been doing enough to get a spot in regionals, which would have been their only target right now. Make sure we get to regionals, and then we've still got a chance to get to LAN. Most likely would have to win regionals, but, you know, a Navi roster like this, they do have the potential to do so.
So Navi, they're going to be moving past the down beast at the moment and just looking at what could be.
All right, let's see if who else we got in here.
Safe for now. EKO Esports.
Don't have anybody.
There's a few teams actually stacked up in front of Navi, so if they can force them to fight, maybe pinch them into each other or mirror one of those teams as they make their way in, then they could be in a
fighting here currently.
Some good big decisions will have to be made for now. But EKO inside of the mill, like I mentioned, they're going to be on.
Let's take a quick look around
the line of sight of Navi in just a few.
Some of these guys, though, Vex
crest, but Navi
currently rocking all purples.
Some time here.
Purple, blue, white here on Invictus.
At the very.
E6 rocking the blue, blue, purple.
Hitting that beacon maybe.
I think E6 was, yeah, blue, blue, purple. They gotta fight the zone, but they're not too far away.
As I say that, we see a couple of kills.
Fire Beavers rocking all purple.
And SAF Esports
Nightmare purple, purple, blue.
And it's Invictus who are involved once more. We have 17 squads now remaining.
How frustrating is that going to be for SAF? Another team that was right on the bubble for relegation. They were in 21st coming into this.
These teams are out, it looks like.
They would be hoping to get a big week so they could push themselves into regional as well.
Down to just 6
here
here.
At relegation here, as there are still teams below them that could overtake them as well. They might just be okay, but honestly, that's going to be such a frustrating time to go out here in match number 6 and really make you sweat. But here comes Navi. Looks like we want to try and push up on this one.
Oh, difficult for them to do so though, because the Rolling Thunder comes in. But look at that spray coming in from Dazo. That's
Jesus.
Huge for them. Manages to get
that was some big shreds, but are they going to be able to follow it up? Oh. Sonya gonna go down? No, Sonya's still up. Sonya does go down. Yeah, EKO's still out though.
Go down though. Navi survived as Dazo, the man who got the first pick, is now gonna have to pick his teammates up.
Last time we'll most likely be seeing EKO as well. They were bottom of our leaderboards coming into today's action, and even though they had a relatively impressive day, they had some good games, it's not going to be enough for them to be able to compete in the regional finals, and they will have to play in those relegation spots. Here comes Horizon then. They have just 2 members left, but they do have the banner, at least of 0-0, so a chance for them to get back up as a full 3. But they're well aware there are other players in the vicinity here. They have to just be careful. They're watching their back to make sure that they don't get pushed.
Gaming drones go down as well. Vex were in that kill feed, picking up a few KP to send them back to the respawn screen. Mimu gonna be left here, sadly, by his teammate. Urban, who's gonna maybe try and think about getting out of dodge and thinking about getting his teammate back in. The zone is going to tick for sure. He's going to have to time this one nicely to see if he can get the respawn in before he can pop a med kit, but he should be safe for now as we see a team taking to height now. This is going to be LFO and Corpa maybe potentially having a fight here, and Corpa take the high ground here at Barometer and forcing a team down off of that high ground. Good shots are going to hit Flesh, but not hit the death screen.
So V2 versus Corpa. Corpa with the high ground and with all the information as to where V2 are. It looks like they are hunting them right now. Corpa trying to get aggressive, maybe realizing where they are in the standings and how much they need to do. They would have seen those teams above them getting eliminated. They will know this is their best chance of trying to get into regionals and survive relegation is with a huge mammoth game here. And with that, sometimes you need KP, especially when it's a circle ball like this.
Well, Corpa lose the first, and Corpa, who were
looks like we don't have anybody in fight still here currently in our full screen.
Opponents are now going to find themselves on the receiving end of damage from V2, who managed to reset while all of this was going down. So V2 holding strong here. But both these teams have got to be careful because of the fact that, you know, it's 10 seconds until this zone starts to close behind them. The longer this fight goes on, and the longer that these two teams commit to it, Dan, it's going to be more difficult to force their way into zone.
It is going to be so tough to force your way into zone. You can see there now the prediction and the information from observer mode of where that circle is going to be going. So those with beacon information will know we're heading close to the mill once more, maybe on the northern side rather than the southern side this time. So plenty of teams already residing in those areas as V2 still looking to try and finish off this engagement, but they've done enough.
I know I've kind of gotten quiet here this last game. Who won game 5? Game 5 went to E6, who has finally actually moved their way up and actually started showing up here. They might actually be able to qualify for one of those last couple spots for LAN. They should be in a good spot right now. They'll just need to have a decent performance at regionals. I think more than likely E6 and LFO forever are going to be the two teams that move into that 8 and 9 spot.
Still up on high. Aurora now making their move right round the back of the zone at the moment. Fire Beavers are going to be looking down over them though, and that is not a team that you want to walk up to unannounced.
This should be easy pickings for Fire Beavers, but Aurora also very close by. Element 6 also in the vicinity, so there's 3 teams that could change the outcome of this engagement. And that's why Fire Beavers don't want to commit too heavily to this fight. That's why
you don't want to give up your height.
They're just holding this high ground for now.
Doing a great job as well. There is that first knock onto Cleve. Combination of players doing it here for Fire Beavers.
They should be able to enter in off this. Yeah, they're going to enter off this.
Reset momentarily, but now you're going to see that swing coming. There's 2 dead now. The last player alive is trying to survive. Not going to be able to do so. They Fire Beavers with a clean sweep of Aurora, and that's the end of Aurora's day down. We were talking about them as the team to potentially dethrone Ascender at the top of the leaderboards coming into today, but not going to happen for now as Corpa finally get the better, it would seem.
Nice job by Corpa there too. I don't think Corpa, unfortunately, I think it's going to be not only the end for Corpa. I think Corpa's going to be going out of relegation after today.
They have so far to go, and even when they do arrive into the next zone, they'll have to move even further to zone 3 and 4. So it might be
probably, yeah, actually.
But I think that was a big fight for them to win personally, for confidence, whether that be relegation they have to compete in or whether they just about scrape.
No, they're not gonna get. They're not gonna scrape in. There's no way. Navi's doing better than them today, and Navi's also on the outside looking in. There's just no way.
Кирюх, под нами, не, под нами типы. Слышь, Кирюх, под нами типы стреляют. Тут где-то. Я не знаю, где-то. Окей.
Можно добить, можно добить.
Добил. Это Алики.
Fire Beavers in a decent spot where they're at. They've had a decent day. They were in what, 6th heading in the day? They're in 3rd, so they're probably just vibing. Twitch is gonna cuck us with the ad. Absolutely love to see it. Hell yeah.
Muszę patrzeć, żeby nas nie podchwycili.
A lot of squads already rotating over. It looks like this is going to be ending a little bit more in front of Mill. The way that this zone's looking anyways.
Do nas będą lecieli, do nas będą. Bijmy ich. Tak, musimy się wjebać. Tutaj, na mnie.
Who just landed on Nightmare and thought that was going to work?
Na górze, na górze.
Well,
Dobił mnie. 2 noki są.
I mean, that worked, I guess.
Musicie go zabić.
Klimbuj ze mną.
Nie blokuję. Na lewo gdzieś jest.
That was E6.
I think I need to call
That's Case Swinny, that's up here.
They're going up.
You play back, Swinny. No, there's a team over there. You can't go back.
Give me come.
Okay.
They're pushing now. Fuck.
Yeah, I think Swinny's fucked here, man. This is tough. He's going to be forced to sit back. Let's go sit on real quick with Alliance here. They're going to be rotating. They don't have VAR to rotate in. As you can see, they're just outside of the zone.
What's the Horizon? Horizon down here on the rock. He's not in zone. I'm nading him. You're running right close. He's going to queue up on me. He's going to queue up on me 100%.
Yeah, I'm watching you.
Backs are clear.
There's still another squad out in the distance, too, that's rotating, too.
Kill the solo below me.
I don't think it's a solo. It's this, I think.
Okay, Horizon buying them, maybe. Flying up.
Yeah, it's 2. Good call on the duo instead of its solo. Really well done. Game Ward's going to go out, though, so I don't know if that's going to be enough for Game Ward here. Oh, my goodness gracious. Once again, cucked by the commercials. I think that's Fire Beavers, though, that's pushing up over here, though. So we can at least see the other side of this. Looks like they're probably just going to go opposite ways. It looks like... You can see off the micro drones, they can see that information as far as where Alliance is.
Давай пушить, прям ща.
Давай.
Я слева иду.
А как они нахуй резнули? У них что, крипты есть?
Кстати, да.
Там чел пиздится.
Их пушат прям сейчас. Их пушат, тут найду аккуратно.
Стою, найду еще. Большой банкуем, ребят.
Я бэкнул.
Вальку вот это прогнать.
Бэк, резет.
Да, походу забьем.
Не, хуйня, слышите? Это не могут быть они. Это не могут быть они.
Забейте, не они. Я хочу вот этого сольника залутать. Короче, скорее всего, под дом скатимся, да?
Стой, нет, давай Мил играть прям сейчас.
Кого? Мил?
Мил, да, ебаный хуй.
Там Сейва не будет.
Question is, what's up above them here as far as on rotating in? Because they do have a little width to go, but they're going to be rotating in from the high ground, so they do have a little bit of an angle when they're rotating in.
Вот тут сейф есть.
They also technically have a Valk they could use if they wanted to. Let's hang out real quick over here with Nightmare Esports. They're still over here at the mill. Oh, 7's going to go down. It means Denze is going to be the last one alive. He's going to be out here in the middle where everyone can see him. He's got no ammo on his... Yeah, this is tough, man. It's going to be the end of the game for Fire Beavers there. Unfortunate. Or not Fire Beavers, for Nightmare Esports.
У них спейса нет, держите двери просто.
Все, держим эти двери.
Fire Beavers moving in, though.
Сюрик.
Я сломал.
На мне нет зоны.
Я на контроле, у меня сейф.
Слышите, тут нету зоны, надо уходить.
Да, на камне, го назад вернемся на камне.
Может, с ХГшки будем принимать их?
Слышь, нет, на камне, вниз, по-моему, типы скатились, слышите? Вот эти вниз, по-моему, скатились.
That was Navi, I think that was in there.
И нижних сейчас прям надо запрежить.
But Navi's just going to go ahead and rotate out the opposite way since, you know, Fire Beavers is going this way.
Да, слышите, их прежде их тоже. Кастл надо нокнуть.
Кастл 40. Дал стан на них.
I believe that's Vex Gaming that they're looking over across the way there, it looks like.
Сломайте хуйню, блядь, ребят, там красный чел.
Сломал, давай. Просто ебашь его. Справа, Лёва, слышишь? Справа. У него зоны нет, его хуярят.
They realize they got a team behind them. They should probably focus this team. Nice shots.
У меня тут в опене киллы, прям дохуя киллов.
Не, нам надо своих убить.
Big shots from Impulse, just absolutely shredding down there. Holy shit.
Кастл, Лёва, вот тут кастл. Бля, нокнули, резни.
Oh, this is tough. They were split here. Is Impulse gonna be able to get over here and get support in time?
Да не хуй еще.
Они идут, нет ульты.
Я ресы. У меня лейтов нет, Кирилл.
Alright, so he was able to fall back. The question is, are they gonna... Yeah, they got the revive here. Impulse has to watch that team that's over to his left, though, now that he's gotten shots over. You don't want them rotating, but they should more than likely stay in that house, right?
Вот тут, лоу хп. Касса, и второй лоу. Все, Гуччи. Все, они тоже сдохли.
Alliance out, so they're now in the top 6. So both of the buildings that are in zone right now are occupied. That's the unfortunate thing. They have to try and find themselves some room. But they're also going to be looking at getting looked at from across the way.
И вперед скатываемся, готовы? Прям сейчас.
Сейчас, секунду. Скандал, давай. Пошли. Ульту отдал.
Сольника на первом этаже словить.
Я вот тут пока хилю, слышите? Вот тут хилюсь.
Я лоу, я хилюсь.
Можем Сольника?
ЕМП.
Давайте, ребят, Сольника.
Ловите
мы
вместе,
не можем.
Аккуратно мост, пацаны, аккуратно мост.
Слышите, вот эти спину сейчас зайдут, вот эти спину. Кирюх, есть кнопки на них? Они крышу занимают.
Они уже пушат.
Oh no, this is gonna be bad news for Fire Beavers here. Can you get inside?
Держи щит.
Не могу.
На мне играйте, на мне играйте.
Я им сейчас пизда, Лёва, готовься ебашить их. Да. Я перестанил их пиздец.
Понял.
Some big shots there on the swing, but you need to be able to sit back a little bit.
Держи щит.
Щит 140, 120, кончился.
Oh, impulse. Last one alive, gonna get turned on here. That's tough here. That's Vex Gaming's who had just moved in here, gotten that squad wipe. Vex is gonna be able to have cover now after that squad wipe, which is gonna be big for him here.
One sec, I'm batting.
Looks like off this, they should be able to potentially...
I need heavy. Someone give me some heavy.
Yeah, I can drop some.
Someone playing out height?
I dropped 2 secs.
That's not where I am, boss man. I'm coming for it.
Alright, so we have one team bridge, one team above us, one team left.
Okay.
Honestly...
Yeah, by the way.
Wait, we could just take roof.
No, I think next zone, we go for the wall, we look back and we white swing right.
So 4 squads left. They got one up above them. One over at the bridge, one at the next house.
Yeah, I have it.
Okay, listen, make sure you understand what we're doing, okay? We are at horizon, seeing the doorway so they can't get out. We're queuing ourselves over to this side of the bridge and then we're looking backwards, okay? The bridge team will help us, and that team will help us. We're not actually fighting this team, we're just shooting them and like getting to that spot, okay?
Yeah.
Do we have any nades?
No.
Okay, unlucky, when we're doing this, I need you to queue the bridge, okay?
Wait, swing!
Oh, they need to win this fight! Big wipe here. They'll be able to get a reset here and a refresh before the zone starts closing in here.
Left building, left. Yeah.
So what they're going to do is they're going to ult the left building and then they're going to try and go all the way over to the bridge because that's where the zone ends. So Tyler needs to make sure that they can get this black hole up onto that. It looks like probably the balcony. But they're underneath too.
Okay, I'm going to ult the balcony, yeah? Or should I ult the bottom doorway?
The balcony, we jump on the outside of the... One guy picking outsiders now, but they can't be there for long. We go
I'm using my last bat. Give me bats. No bats. Give me bats.
No, I have one bat.
I can. Good. I have one
out of the by the way, so need it.
Okay, I'm not gonna ult the balcony. I'm gonna ult the bottom door. The bottom door.
No.
Like the hallway. This here.
Okay. And unlucky you.
Okay, doing it now. Doing it now. Going now.
Let's go.
I'm mid popping a bat too.
Yeah.
I got it off.
I'm waiting and then zero.
That's a big bat. Do they have to survive these? If they can survive their heals here, then that means they're fine because they've kind of been able to put themselves on the outside of this squad that's right over here.
Should I just go for kills?
Guys, the team will wipe. They will wipe this for us. And then just go left.
They're running out. Boston dead.
They need to help on the team that's across the way. They've got one down on each side. This is going to be their team right here. This is going to be Vex walking away with the dub. Huge plays with the communication on that ult. That was absolutely huge.
Let's go.
Wow. Really well done.
Oh my god.
Nice cut.
I shit on the team as they left the building, getting that knock, gave them
big
the
game.
And Vexed forcing their way into zone might have forced themselves way up those leaderboards as well, Dan.
Yeah, push themselves into the top 3 for sure. I don't think would have done enough to
fight
against IG and Alliance, who, as I said, were separated by just 1 point in the end. But
yeah, Alliance would have needed to have like a quiet game. I don't think they wouldn't have been able to catch IG anyways.
Get you closer, of course, to those playoff spots, and then think about LAN as well.
Well, all the teams in this lobby, fellas, great call, by the way. I mean, it really was LAN on the mind, and it was regional finals too, but, you know, by the proxy of being able to get to LAN after playing in that, Vex actually was the closest team. Starting out the day, they had 86 points, I think. They were just behind Aurora, who are in the 90s, and they were, of course, behind Ascend, who is far ahead in EMEA and also qualified for LAN in terms of no one can really catch them and push them out of the top 9. You know, Vex had a chance. I don't know if this is enough, but if they were to get something like 2nd, I think they would have joined Ascend. I don't know if 3rd is enough for them. It might just be narrowly outside of the margins, but what we do know is that Vex are a threat. They are clearly here to play. They have figured out whatever issues they had. Matafi's journey of finding the right teammates and IGLing into a situation where he feels confident it feels like, Mark, they've solved all those issues, and heading into the regional final, this spells bad news for, I think, a lot of teams who maybe weren't counting on Vex to be such a threat at the start of the season, now realizing, wow, this is
Vex has really warmed up, man.
They've
looked really solid in the back half of this season.
I would agree. I think Vex are one of the most dangerous teams in EMEA for a number of different reasons. They're obviously an extremely good fighting team. They're dangerous for a number of reasons. They can win games, they can dominate games, but also they can kind of ruin your game sometimes with plays you don't expect to see from a team. They'll run at you if they think they've got an opportunity to kill you, and sometimes that'll work for Vex, sometimes it'll work against them. But I think those little mistakes and those percentages have started to weigh more heavily in their favor as they've started to work out a few things and how these lobbies are playing and how teams are going to try and deal with them when they come at them through the weeks that we've seen in the Pro League, right? And when a roster comes together, it always is going to take time for those mistakes to be corrected. And I'm seeing more consistency and more smart plays out of Vex than we certainly were at the start of the split. The firepower certainly still is there, and it's turning into wins for them more consistently now.
I think they have a strong storm point. I don't know if you would disagree.
I think V2 and so,
but this is the second time I've
let's
seen
see if
them
we can
win
get
Game 6
updates on the
Storm
scoreboard
Clearly,
here.
They've had a strong tournament overall, but in terms of maps and in terms of being able to pick up the pace, Vex seem to be a crescendo team in terms of a team that starts strong and falls flat.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure
a stronger win rate when it comes to Storm Point than
so.
World's Edge. They had
LFO Forever finishes in 5 for the session, 5th.
Edge, it was only at 25.
E6 is in 7th. I think the two of them should take 8th and the 8 and 9 spot.
A season. It does seem like Storm Point maybe caters to their style of play a little bit more. It can be more open. You can find more teams. You can find a couple more kills with your aggressive nature. But ultimately, you still have to play successfully in that final circle. It's not just about aggression. There is so much strategy when it comes to those final circles. And the way Vex managed and manipulated that final circle was perfect. They knew Horizon
VZN is over LFO Forever by 1 game.
One side of the wall, Horizon very much then are in the firing lines of Totem, and it meant that Horizon just got absolutely blasted down, and then Vex took their time. They were patient, and then they eventually popped up, got the kills.
Two great decisions there. They also took
no
down
freaking way
before that and found out.
Now, granted, obviously you got to remember that regionals still count, right?
Ultimately, Vex had to win.
So that means if LFO Forever can at least do better than VZN,
could have gone one way,
they're in.
The other way, and they mentioned that.
They just had to make sure that Game War doesn't do better than them.
They like to play. We are an aggressive team. We would rather get 3 KP than sit inside and get a top 10, because that's really only 1 placement point if we haven't fought anybody, Mark. And I feel like we're seeing more teams shift to that focus in terms of EMEA and North America, that being aggressive, being a team fight edge roading team is actually more in our benefit than trying to make top 10.
Bro.
Yeah, I think if the opportunity for kills presents itself, if you get initial damage, then you have to try and play off of it, right?
I thought LFO Forever was going to take that. Oh, wait a minute.
Early game. Great.
No, yeah, that's right.
Game, that element of risk,
they're just out because it's the top 9 go.
But as we take a look at the leaderboards here, you can see 22 points. They said they didn't want to, think about placements. They'd rather get the kill as well. You get both.
Why not both?
Get both. Just do both.
That seems like an easy strategy. I mean, I think Vex are maybe opening people's minds.
Chat, this was fun, man. If we have people that are in here still vibing with your boy, I know that we're still a really new channel over here on YouTube, so I know people are kind of in and out and stuff. But we are going to be live tonight. I'm actually going to be live here in about an hour and a half. We're actually got approved to do a watch party for the
having an improvement moment needed.
Knights Valorant tournament that's going on this weekend.
All the teams we highlighted in the middle of the pack.
Freeze Out, I believe it's called. So we're gonna be watching that over here. Towards the end of it, we might do some kind of like peeping in on NA games. Those start at 8.
They performed, I think,
better
than the teams that we did talk about. So
the Freeze Out starts at 5. So
today on the back half, though,
we'll be live for that.
Obviously, going to be some of the disappointments of EMEA in terms of how they hope their tournament will go.
Yeah, we got confirmation of some teams that will be in relegation. Of course, we'll clear all that up by the end of the show, but we know for well we're not going to see Scars. They're going to be in the elimination. Echo are going to be in elimination as well. Potentially, SAF could drop as far. They probably maybe could drop out of regionals, but relegation is still on the cards there as well. Corpa, another team that was fighting against relegation. All these teams that weren't really able to necessarily get going today. And we were hoping that maybe just one of these teams in relegation would show up, would kind of change their tide, change their fortune. But
yeah, Corpus still needed another couple points too.
The case today. I think the only team in the relegation zone was Na'Vi, who are going to force themselves out of it, and they were right on the borderline of it.
Corpa is relegating.
Above Reply Totem.
Do they not know where Corpa's at?
Obviously, Reply Totem ahead of them, Startified ahead of them. Startified, pretty good tournament as well. 44 points. That's not a bad day. They will stay above Element 6, but Element 6, who's well above them, will not lose too many points in terms of placement there. Aurora, just with 9th. I think that's 11 points They're at 94. They still are over 100 here, and I think should be our #1 performing team, but we will have to wait and see. I want to see the regular.
So that means nobody in EMEA is going to pass up.
Who will make the cut? Look at this. 52 was the cutoff mark, but not as sincere. They made it.
Yeah, they stay alive, and that's great for them. I mentioned what a story they've had. And
so obviously V2 still gets a chance to fight in regionals too, right?
Out today and put in the performance that they needed.
More than likely they'll need to win though, with where they're at.
Regional finals, which is so important for them, and a huge congratulations to them for performing today and doing.
But that's not bad.
I'm looking at the other end of the table, by the way. Ascend 106, Aurora 105, Vex 104. Woo! I mean, that sets us up pretty nicely.
And you know what? It also a team that you might have missed and passed over there, VZN. They started out after having, I think, day 8, and then in the last meeting between these two teams, taking something between 4th and 1st. They ended up getting 19th today. I mean, that really didn't put them in a position to hold on to that land spot right now. They're only 1 point ahead of, and so VZN obviously a bit of a dud this afternoon, but take a look at this. I think for a lot of people, breath of fresh air. Gaming Gladiators, Hardeki, one of the bigger names, although going through a lot of emotional changes and adjustments he's mentioned on Twitter.
Just out of relegation.
Him, will have a spot in the Pro League next split, which is a big deal. To
by
be able
the
to
skin of his teeth.
And bounce back.
2 minutes, or 2 points.
Heroes, Corpa, 3 buckets, Bitfix Gaming, Phoenix Legacy, and Turkish Stars and Echo Esports will be relegated. It's unfortunate, but it happens in competition. That is just the way things tend to go. Of course, every single day we have our opportunities to talk about teams that should perform, that might not perform, that if they don't, there could be some trouble. But always at the end of it, we get to see who got the job done. And so today, let's highlight some of our teams, our Monster MVP team performances here on the day. Mark, I want to give the floor to you first. There were several teams that stood out, and they're at the top of the standings in many ways. But to you, who got your Monster MVP today?
I'm going to go with Yuki, and I think a lot of it kind of folds nicely into what we were talking about at the start of the day, right? We were talking about the WD back, what's in your pack, and we were talking about the charge rifle. This guy had it on him the whole game, but there's more to just standing still and hitting shots. Like the way that he was creating space for Alliance to play off was really, really solid, and the angles that he took to support his two teammates, he was always there to do damage. Not only getting KP today, but I feel like as an anchor player, Yuki played so well today, so consistently, and he was able to influence so much space for Alliance to take advantage of, and they didn't need to be asked twice, especially on some of their tough rotations that they had to make as well. Yuki's damage coming in from that Charlie rifle was certainly something to be impressed with.
It's not fair that he gets to be great looking as well in real life. I mean, it's just not
It's really
cool.
not, honestly. I'm actually going to take it. I'm going to take it back. I'm going to get someone else just because he's got enough going on. No, it's not fair.
Yuki, obviously a great selection. Dan, you know, Alliance, they were unstoppable. I mean, I can't even mention how much that I was impressed with their play and their addition to effect. It seems like they're only getting better and better, and Hockey's himself had said so. But for you, who did you have your eye on? Who was your Monster MVP for this afternoon?
I've been talking about Invictus all day, and for good reason, with how they performed, but a lot of that comes down to not just the IGL, but we've seen Graceful added as the co-IGL to this roster, and
I really like the way that they work with kind of like the duo IGLing.
To help them position
they looked really good today.
We'll give a lot of that to Noises, but Graceful actually, the kills he's putting down, the
like,
damage
honestly,
he's outputting right now, now he maybe gets to stop
if they're able to play like that
towards IGLing, he can focus
at
on
regionals,
his in-game performance, and it really is showing.
They just might walk away. I mean, not even just regional, at LAN even.
Very important 1v1.
If they play at LAN,
also taking the right angles to
they're
assist
turn some
his
heads.
team. When you are playing a Watson, there's a lot of responsibility to put yourselves in the right areas, to protect your teammates in certain places, and Graceful seems to have a little bit of everything.
Doing it with grace.
Crazy to think that Hardeki was 2 points away.
These two teams and two players you highlighted were phenomenal. But fellas, I'm going to add one more. I got to give a shout out to the person who answered the call. Graceful said, we need this person to step out of their shell. They've got a LAN win. I don't. They should be fragging out with me. We looked at halftime. JMW was leading the top kill leaderboards on the day. I think that is a huge sign that when tasked to rise to the challenge, he did so. That's a great sign for IG as well, and why they were so successful on the day. For a great day in EMEA, our last day here before you do.
That was a good last day for EMEA. That's a lot of fun. Whew. They doing an interview?
Very exciting stuff. And we've talked a lot about this player and this team in particular. How could you not? They won 3 games in EMEA. 3, almost tying the entirety of the splits overall record with 4, and that was Ascend, and they tied Optic. So no team has gone beyond that. But if you compare performances, they were this close. And of course, it has to do with how well they all performed as a team. And we want to talk to them. In fact, talk to maybe not the IGL, but the co-IGL. We'll
Yeah,
get it
Grateful.
from him in his own words what his role is. We've talked to him before. Graceful. It is great to see you, man. Congratulations on a great start to heading into really the knockout stages of Apex here, regional land coming up.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I mean, it feels great to come off of a win, even though we had some inconsistencies. Overall, we played out of our minds, and like you both said as well, I appreciate the kind words always. Jake really stepped up today, and
dude, their game today was so huge.
It makes everything so easy when you just have like a Terminator walking up and just insta killing 2 people, and it's just like it makes everything easy.
Graceful, you challenged Jake. Is that the role you want to play on this team? You have experience. You have been there. You have IGL, but you've taken a step back and allowed Noises to do that for you. Are these type of interpersonal things to keep your team connected something that you feel you can contribute to IG and is part of the reason Jake's stepping up and you're seeing this success?
I would say, yeah, I have a lot of experience in multiple roles. I've always been the one to flex no matter what the team needs, whether that's a fragger, anchor, or IGL. I play everything. And I think since, like, with a little bit of humbleness to it, I think I'm the most flexible player across the world, I would probably say. And I think it's more important to bring out the absolute best in my teammates.
I like that, though, like being humble about it,
I don't
you
think
know?
I'm the best at everything, but I think I bring out the best in people. So to use me to help you become the world best, like I think Jake and Cam both are world best player material, and I think I just help enable them. I don't consider myself at the top.
I like that view though, honestly, man. Like being focused on like team first and like get like
lead them the way,
just success over your own success.
Pressure I can't have. Type of deal.
You're a coach, basically.
I'm old, you know. All the young guns. I'm just leading them there.
I think it's a bit harsh on yourself there. I think you played phenomenally yourself individually today, and I think you should take some credit for that as well. But I want to talk about the importance of today's performance for you, because obviously you have the regional finals coming up next, and coming into today, yeah, you guys are in a great position, but it's also very easy to kind of look down instead of up when you're looking at, you know, qualification spots and land spots and all of that sort of stuff. So how important was, you know, game 1, game 2, just to get a win on the board, just to settle those nerves a little bit?
Yeah, no, for us, we're definitely a team that thrives when we all feel good. And we have this issue where, as you can probably see, we died on Valcold several times, on rotation, essentially, on our macro several times. But when we get just one game where we get to shoot our guns, it just carries the entire tournament, essentially. Like, Jake gets to kill 2 people, and he feels super good. Like, I just...
I mean, I feel like when they won their second, they just were able to ride that momentum all the way through, and I think they just built on game 2 or game 1 in game 2.
Like huge in terms of performance overall.
And Graceful, let's talk World's Edge versus Stormpoint. Your consistency on World's Edge, you're actually the best team that we've seen across the entire split on World's Edge with 6 victories. Not the same on Stormpoint though. What's the major difference for you guys on these maps?
So the biggest thing is that on this is the thing.
All right,
Chad. A lot of times you have to kind of adapt. Right?
They're just gonna wrap up this interview and then they're gonna get up on out of here. I gotta be back live here now in an hour and a half, because we're gonna watch some of the Knights freeze out tonight. So I'm gonna go ahead and take a little break, get away from the screen a little bit. I say that even though I'll probably still be on my phone doing some shorts or whatever from the broadcast, but still. We'll be live around 5 for the freeze out, and then we'll probably, I mean, depending on what's going on, we'll probably also sit in on some NA games as well. We'll have to kind of see how the night's going. All right. And then tomorrow, I think we'll just have the freeze out in the evening. I'll keep you guys posted. All right. But if we don't happen to catch y'all back over here later, y'all have a great rest of y'all's Thursday. Hopefully we do see y'all over here later. But until we catch y'all back over here on the channel for the next one, man, don't forget, with everything crazy going on in the world today, be true, be you, be sincere, game hard and love harder. All right, y'all? It's your boy Q. Signing out.